Ladies and gentlemen, live from Facebook, it's CoCoTALK After Dark. Lock up the women and hide the pets. All right, well, there's the official CoCoTALK intro clip there, but we have a treat for you, ladies and gentlemen. We now also have the CoCoTALK After Dark jingle that Alan Huffman put together for us, so you're going to hear the debut of that right now.
CoCoTALK After Dark. CoCoTALk After Dark.
Was that a busy signal?
That was a busy signal. That was pretty good. Alan threw that together for us this afternoon. Thanks for that, Alan.
That's almost like the crickets.
That's wrong. That is wrong.
There's the crickets.
There they are.
There's the crickets. All right, so this is CoCoTALK After Dark. We had the official professional version of CoCoTALK after, or just CoCoTALK, right? CoCoTALK during day. I guess we'll now start calling that one. And I thought it was a pretty good show. It was a very legitimate show, very technical show. We talked about CMOC, talked about compilers, talked about some technical stuff. And so now we're going to let our hair down and just talk about whatever. So on the show with us right now, this could change at any time depending on how the FCC, reacts to some of this. But we've got Richard Cavell from the UK. Thanks for being here, Richard.
Hello, everyone.
From The Matrix,
Hello. David
David Ladd. Hey, David.
Hello.
I have a question. How does David Ladd let his hair down?
Very carefully.
Yes.
Chest hair.
Would you like to know?
Felt tip pin?
Felt tip. From Sub Etha Software, Alan
To
Huffman.
pay, sir, to pay.
Pleasure to be here.
Author of Forest of Doom, vocal coach to the stars, and Canadian at large. Bruce Moore is with us. How are you, Bruce?
Oh, Canada.
The emoji meter's kicking in. We just got a love there. So, also from the Great White North, Curtis Boyle. How's it going, eh?
Who, where, what? That's good.
I got John Strong calling in here. All right, and we've got the CoCo man himself, Jason Reighard. How are you there, Jason?
Doing great, doing great. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Boisy Pete's back with us once again. Thank you, Boisy, for being here.
Thank you, Steve. Good evening, everyone.
From sunny Southern California, Mr. Steve Bjork joins us once again. Hello, Steve.
Hey, how's everybody going?
We're doing all right. From the guest bedroom, he's been evicted from the garage. Ron Delvaux. Ron Delvaux. Oh.
Oh,
How are you, Ron?
pretty good.
Mixing up the CoCo margaritas, Mark Overholser.
Hey,
The originator of the electromagnetic pulse from the Great White North. We've got Bill Nobel with us tonight.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
I'm
Bill.
going to blame him for global warming.
John Linville, host of the CoCo Crew podcast, has joined us. Hello, John.
hello, hello.
All right, that was good. That was a test of the Emergency Broadcasting Network there, so we're good. And from Strongware, John Strong is with us too. How are you, John?
Okay. Trying
Who the
to
hell's-
on a new setup tonight, so I don't know how I'm doing yet.
Okay, I'd like to know who's got the foghorn blowing out there.
It's not Ron Delvaux.
And it's not me either.
Oh,
John?
I was.
are we going to be name calling here? Alan Huffman, how are you? Twice in one day. We don't hear from Alan for months, so we get him twice in one day today.
There you go. That ought to be the limit.
So what's the topic today, guys? What are we talking about?
Alan's beard.
Yeah, look at that. We actually did. Our legitimate topic today during the professional show was compilers, and we did talk about the CMOC. We were hoping Bruce was going to be able to join us, but hey, Bruce, you want to share any knowledge with us on what you've been doing with compilers right now and some of your success stories or lessons learned?
Yeah, well, I can share experience. I don't know about knowledge, but well, C Basic 3. I got it working. I got my code compiling, very happy, and then I tried to run it on a CoCo 2, and it would not run.
Okay.
And I was so very disappointed because I was not using any CoCo 3 code. I thought it would just run, and I was wrong.
Okay.
So if you're wanting to do CoCo 3 only stuff, then from the bit I've done, then great, go for it. Although I haven't done any CoCo 3 code actually on there to see what it's like. If it calls the basic interpreter, you don't get too much in the way of a speed boost, at least on a get and a put. That's one test I did.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed about the same speed, but there's lots of other stuff that's snappier. And I guess one thing I was kind of liking about the idea of compiling an adventure game, for instance, is that someone couldn't just press the break key and then read all the room descriptions and get all the clues.
Right. So
that so I was a little disappointed. So then I went over to ML Basic, which I'd kind of tangled with a bit before, and with the the introduction of the manual that someone dug up recently, I thought, oh, this is going to be great. And I found, man, it does some weird things. It does. I identified that it's not the smartest when it comes to if-thens. So that's not a big deal. But then I was getting it would show you the line numbers as it was compiling. 10, 20, 30, 40. Got to 720 and then said 737.325 something or other. And I'm like, what is that? That's not in my code. And then it kind of blew up. So I started deleting code. I deleted all sorts of code until it compiled right. And then it didn't quite run right. I was like, what's going on here? So I put a little extra code in to see what was going on behind the scenes. And it so if you know with data statements, if you put some string data in a data statement, you put it in quotations, and the computer's supposed to ignore data statements. Well, the compiler saw the word end in my data statements and figured it should tokenize it.
Even though it was wrapped in quotes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
time to send a letter into the manufacturer and have them bring out a new version.
Yeah. So it was at that point where it was getting late. I'd spent the day on it, and I thought, okay, if it does that, what else is it going to screw up? So
right.
Now I'm thinking, there may be some small little things I might do with it, but I don't think I want to put any more time into doing anything of significance with it at this point. So I guess I've been disappointed a lot.
Now, one thing I'm trying to remember, C Basic 3, the one that you had more success getting compiled, except it doesn't work on a CoCo 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think Sircomp had a C Basic without the 3 earlier that was CoCo 1 and 2 specific. Does anybody know if that's kicking around?
Well, it's not in the archive. I would love to look at it. If anybody can find it.
Okay. Because that might be one possible solution.
So is the moral of the story trying to use a basic compiler right now, maybe just not ready for prime time or not ready for your needs?
I think his needs, because the C Basic 3 compiler, from my understanding, does work as long as you want it to only run on a CoCo 3.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So if you're fine with that, if you want it to be CoCo 3, if that's what I was doing, then it'd be great. But
okay.
So now I just got from Bill Nobel, I just got Nitrous 9 level 1. So running on XROAR. I just opened it. I said, well, maybe I can do some of this stuff in Basic 09 and see what happens. And it'll be compatible with the CoCo 2. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the theory. So
okay.
That's my next try.
Well, quick
Or
question
maybe-
for you, Bruce. Are you going to be doing graphics, like high-res graphics in it, or are you going to be just doing the VDG 32 by 16 text column stuff?
Well, I was thinking of just sticking with the VDG stuff for now. Although, good question though. Like, P Mode 4 type graphics, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could play in actually. Is there?
Well, the advantage
something
you
I gotta
get
look
if you
out
do
for?
it in Basic 09, you're going to be able to make it modular so it could scale to whatever screen they're using, and it's fairly easy to do graphics in different resolutions. So
Yeah.
you could have a CoCo 2 and CoCo 3 compatible program in Basic 09, and I'm sure there's plenty of us here that would love to kind of help you figure that out.
Yeah.
Well, it's the reason why I sent him the image.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Bill.
By the way,
I think
really-
you ran out
really
of cocoa juice.
digging the beard there. I mean, I'm going to crank up the lounge music too. I forgot to kick in the lounge music, so let's hope this
It
is
was-
not too distracting.
Yeah,
here.
It was a
The
little
problem-
loud last time, by the way.
Yeah. The problem we had with OS 9 software back in the 90s was if you bought something from Radio Shack, you could stick in the disk, type DOS, and upran your game. But
Yeah.
if you were a third party, you couldn't put OS 9 on the disk, so people had to have OS 9. They had to know how to copy your program over to their boot disk, and it was pretty simple to do, but it was extra steps. And nowadays, you can just stick Nitros on the disk. That's what I did when I put out our Space Invaders program, and you just type DOS and up it comes. Something we wanted to do back then, but we never did, is we wanted to put our OS 9 software out. And you'd type DOS, a little basic program or an assembly language program would run, and it would say insert an OS 9 bootable disk. So then you'd stick in one of your Radio Shack disks that booted, and it would pull the OS 9 boot off of that and copy it to our disk, and then you'd have a DOS bootable thing. But we just never got around to that. I wish we would have. That would have made a huge difference for people running OS 9 software that necessarily, that didn't have to learn anything about OS 9 or didn't even own the standalone OS 9.
Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? There was a time during Windows 2.0 where there was actually a Windows runtime. There was a handful of Windows applications that you could run with a Windows runtime and not have to have the operating system. Matter of fact, I think earlier versions of Excel did that, and I think I even had a game that was like that too. Yeah. We got a couple people joining us now too that we didn't acknowledge before, but Peter Cetinski is here from the TR City Trash Talkers. How are you, Peter?
Hey, Coconuts, how are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us. And Neil Blanchard of the CoCo Crew podcast is with us as well. Hey, Neil, welcome to the After Dark.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having the show here. This is great.
No problem. Hey.
So what do you guys do in the After Dark? I'm curious. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I shouldn't be that curious.
No, you shouldn't.
Is there anything like, what have you guys been talking about?
Trouble, Peter.
Yeah. We just we intentionally don't care about the structure. And we also kind of don't care about the professionalism of it either. So we pretend to have a structured professional show during. Yeah, exactly. The only difference is we don't pretend.
Actually, the only difference is, where's your drink?
Yeah, we're drinking. Yeah, so this is the alcohol-induced version of CoCoTALK. So
normally it's just the audience getting drunk trying to listen to us for 3 hours.
Yeah, so I guess what you're saying is that because of licensing requirements, you could not have distributed the OS 9 operating system with your program, and not everybody had it back then.
But
and here's the thing that drives me crazy is people are talking about how complex OS 9 was. It was not really that much more complex than dealing with DOS of the day with himem.sys and config.sys and autoexec and IRQs and comms. It was, to me, a whole lot easier than what PCs were at the time, and we forget what life was like before modern Windows.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, putting it all on there, if people could have just bought software and typed DOS, then it would have been a great platform for all kinds of simple games. Unless you were banging at the hardware trying to use every last cycle, there are so many games that could run under OS 9 that are sleeping most of the time. Otherwise, they'd play too fast. So it's a wonderful, easy platform. I was able to write my game under it, and I couldn't tell you how to turn on a graphics screen or read a joystick in assembly under pure CoCo. I just never had that knowledge back then.
Yeah, the strength of OS 9 is the system calls, the API calls, basically, because a lot of stuff is done for you. You just have to just call the routine, and it does everything for you. So whether you're doing disk I/O or setting up a screen or drawing a circle or whatever else. It's
Well,
that's
in
the
the
whole
case-
reason for having an OS in the first place.
Yeah, in the case of my stuff, I had my own game IO system. And so all that stuff that you're talking about that OS 9 would do for you, my OS did it. And of
But
course
you didn't
it was,
distribute it either, so
Yeah.
well,
that's your
I did. It came with all the games.
no, I mean for other programmers to use.
Now, if you had a Tandy bit of software that Tandy was distributing, they could use the OS 9 kernel to distribute the game. And they did. I know that my Color Computer Artist, which was under OS 9, was actually distributed with a copy of OS 9. You type in DOS, it would boot up OS 9, and you had the program there.
Yeah. And any of the stuff Tandy sold, like Rescue and Fractalus, Coronis Rift, the Sierra games, they all came with their own. But the regular third-party person at home that couldn't get sold through Radio Shack could not afford to pay Microware for the license for every single copy they sold.
They could. They just had to raise the price.
Then you wouldn't have any sales. Because you're not going to compete with the
Well,
Radio Shack
that's
ones that are half the price. So
Yeah, I know.
Hey, speaking of OS 9 and stuff, just real quick, I don't want to steer the conversation too far out, but Alan
please
and
do.
I have been, Alan and I have been talking to Alan Badiger from Texas. They bought he and two other companies bought the OS 9 68Ks, other platform source code and rights and so forth. They've actually got it running on a Raspberry Pi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and some other ARM-based processors. So OS, and they want to do a makerspace version, make it available for a pretty decent price. So pretty exciting.
OS 9 forever.
That's right.
I agree.
John Strong, I think weren't you interested in that, John? I think you were looking at that.
Yes, I'd be interested.
OS 9 on a Raspberry Pi. That is actually pretty cool if you think about it.
The thing that's intriguing to me is I know a lot of Raspberry Pi projects that then use an Arduino hooked up to it. And the Arduino sits in a loop and it does all the I.O. It's reading inputs and in joystick buttons or whatever. And then it's just sending back a serial message to the Pi saying, oh, this button was pressed. Because Linux apparently has issues with real-time polling a whole bunch of little things when there's not interrupts. So that's why Chris Hawks of Hawksoft, he uses an Arduino to read the CoCo keyboard, and then he feeds that into a Raspberry Pi for the emulator. A lot of the arcade emulators do the same thing. Even though it can be done, it just has a lot of overhead under Linux. And the thought of being able to take OS 9 and run Arduino-type things where you've got real time, you can do all the I.O. There's so many Arduino projects I do that I would love to do on a cheap Raspberry Pi, but I can't because of the overhead of the operating system. So I'm excited about it for a lot of my projects. But since it won't have the zillions of video players and GUIs and all that like Linux, I just don't know if it's going to catch on beyond us. But I'm super excited to have a modern pocket OS 9 computer.
well, OS 9 68K and stuff used to have X Windows support, if I remember, or at least it had the option of the package. Is that part of this, or are they giving any sort of a window?
Well, nobody's got it right now.
No, there's something
I mean,
called
we didn't
Xybase
have-
9.
Yeah, there's commercial, there's G Windows and X Windows. What I would like to see is us to work on as a community creating something that's equivalent to K Windows, because K Windows supported all the screen codes that made OS 9 Level 2 work, kind of like ANSI graphics on a PC.
Yeah.
So I could write something on the CoCo, run it on the MM1 with very minor changes, just recompile. So if we had that level of support on the Raspberry Pi, and could do all those control codes, then so much color computer software could just be rebuilt on Raspberry Pi running OS 9, and it'd be a fun experiment. But I have no idea how much work that would be.
Well,
Take it
basically
one
be a
notch.
rebuild.
Yeah, take it a notch higher and have it become a something that you could use a CoCo to terminal into as well. So it could run some back end stuff, and you could CoCo terminal it. All right, somebody has hijacked our screen. I believe the NSA, the CIA, FBI, one of these three-letter acronyms. Who's initiated a screen share into darkness right now?
That I guess that was me. I was just testing something. I got
testing Steve's patience.
All right. Well, we have watching us right now. Brian Joyce from Australia is watching us. Michael Brandt was there, and I'm not sure if Grant's going to join us or not, because it looks like Grant was in Facebook a minute ago. So, John Strong, we haven't spoken to you in about a week or two, and we didn't have you on the show today. Anything you want to update us on what you've been working on?
Just working on games to get it ready for the fest. Put the couple Game Master boards together. Going to be testing them to make sure I did those all right, and working on some codes to run the sound and stuff with it. So
very cool, very cool. We just have somebody in the live chat. Oswaldo says that he is watching from Seattle. So welcome, Oswaldo. We'll call you Ozzy. Are you able? I sound like a pirate now. Are you going to reveal the names of some of these games that you're working on? Something that we probably already heard, but I don't want to reveal any trade secrets here.
Just the two that I've announced that I've been working on. Okay, I've been trying to finish off my Dr. Mario type game. I mean, it plays, but there's a lot of things more than getting a playing game to make it a good playing experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the setup and stuff, and hopefully we'll have some professionally composed music by Alan Huffman once he gets done.
I've got something professionally composed by Alan Huffman. Listen to this.
CoCoTALK After Dark.
How do you like that?
Kind of got a Weird Al vibe.
Hey, Alan Huffman, when are you going to professionally compose some stuff for John Strong? He needs some game music, damn it.
He's working on it.
Yeah, I did something on the airplane coming back from a recent trip, just a rough demo of music that I thought would work for the game, and then I just haven't had the ability to get to anything. I had to clear out so much stuff that was buried under other stuff so I could get to the stuff that I wanted, like my keyboard and all these things.
So you had stuff under stuff, and you needed to get through some of that stuff to get to the stuff that you needed. Did I get that right?
That is absolutely correct. And John, I will be getting to it soon.
Hey, Chris Shilliday wants to know, does anyone have an MC10 power supply they want to sell?
Steve?
Yeah, because it's too light of a doorstop if
Steve
the power supply's not included.
All you need is a 8-volt. How many amps was that? Was that 5 amps on that guy? Yeah, it took a lot of power. Took a lot of power and didn't do much.
Steve, I thought you were going to suggest something like a 10,000 volts so you could just like blow it up real quick. But
no, I don't want to get sued.
I find it intriguing that Steve remembers the power supply for the MC10.
That's because Ron of Ron's Garage, in an episode that you haven't got to, popped up with one that was in the box, all wrapped up, and I told him, leave it in the wrapper. Works better as a doorstop that way. And of course, he mentioned that it was a 8-volt, 5-amp power supply.
So Chris also
so I take
says
it
that
you didn't have a prototype. They didn't send you a prototype and try to talk you into writing for it.
Oh, they tried to talk me into it. And I tell them no way in hell. You know, I kept telling them it's a step backwards. Since you haven't got to the episode, the reason why I hate the MC10 so much, it killed the deluxe color computer because they didn't have enough 6847 video display generators to go around between both the deluxe and the MC10. So they decided to go with the cheaper and they thought would sell better MC10 and killed the deluxe. I had already started writing software for the deluxe color computer.
Steve, do you have a deluxe CoCo?
No. I had the specs. I kind of whittled some of the specs into a CoCo 2 that I had and could develop for some of it. I mean, it was very similar. The idea was all the I/O that they added.
Yep.
Now, Boisy, I know Microware had some driver discs you guys had found at some point for the deluxe CoCo. Did you guys actually have a prototype at Microware? Do you know?
Alan might know. I never saw one. I've got 2 deluxe CoCos here, but that's not for Microware.
We lost you, Alan. You're muted.
You're muted, Alan.
Sorry, I didn't even know such a thing existed, or I would have paid more attention. It was John out there that told me about where the CoCo 3 prototype was, so I could go and save it from the morgue. I didn't look for other things, but I wish I would have grabbed all those FM, whatever, all those weird Japanese OS 9 machines we had. I grabbed all the CDI players and the Color Computer 3 prototype. So if there was another board back there, John didn't mention it.
Yeah, basically it looked like a CoCo 1.
The deluxe color computer, you mean?
Yeah, deluxe color
with
computer.
the CoCo 3
like
keyboard, right?
Yeah, yeah, and of course we all know the keyboards because Radio Shack was selling them because they had, that they had already bought the parts. So that's the keyboard that was sold in a baggie. And those were from the deluxe.
Keyboard in a bag. We were gonna talk about something today too, like why did Tandy do that? It sounds like we're getting on that topic right now. the MC10 being one of them, right? I'm sorry, somebody's getting ready to talk. I interrupted him. I'm sorry.
If anybody is looking for a power adapter for the MC10, you can use an NES power adapter.
Ah, okay.
And they're
Chris?
very easy to find because there's a lot of aftermarket ones being sold on the web now.
Okay.
So, what are the voltage requirements?
8 volts, 5 amps.
Say that again, Steve.
8 volts, 5 amps.
5 amps. Got it. 5 amps. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's
it was a hungry beast.
Pulling some power, huh? Christ.
Well, you had to have that power when you plugged in the memory upgrade module.
Yeah.
Oh, the external bus, huh? Okay, so Chris heard that. So good.
The
Chris
memory
is aware, huh?
in the MC10 wasn't dynamic; it was static, and that takes a lot more power.
Oh, it's SRAM instead of DRAM?
You got it.
Gotcha. I thought SRAM was lower power consumption.
No, not in those days.
Ah.
It was smoking hot.
Smoking hot, kind of like David Ladd.
Also, SRAM was a little bit more expensive back then too.
A lot more expensive back.
Because you had to have several transistor gates to do a logical bit, where dynamic RAM, you have a simple single silicon junction, basically a diode and reverse bias.
All right, so Chris is saying that the MC10 is actually 8 volts and 1.5 amps. So maybe he's looking at one. I've got one behind me. I'm too lazy to go grab it, but
that sounds better, I guess.
But I guess it's good to know. Go ahead, Boisy.
No, I was going to say if it was a 5 amp power supply, I would imagine it would be kind of bulkier,
Yeah.
Well, the one that Ron pulled out was bulky. Maybe that MC10 that he bought, maybe that was an aftermarket power supply somebody stuck in the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it's good to know that there is kind of an over-the-counter replacement, as in the generic NES adapter, if it's the same specs and same cord connector.
That's
It works excellent.
Okay, there we go.
I thought an NES adapter was 9 volts.
Well, see, anything over 8 volts is going to work because what it is the power supply regulates it down to 5 volts.
Yeah. Internally.
I thought the NES one was also 9 volts AC.
Ooh, that would work.
The MC10 is an AC adapter. It does output AC. Like 8 AC is what it puts out. Pretty sure.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, please pump AC through it and watch it go poof. No,
I'm gonna
just
I'm
kidding.
gonna, okay, you guys got me thinking. I'm gonna grab mine and I'm gonna give you some readouts from this as soon as I can.
There you go. There you go.
Look at us all fact checking and stuff.
Yeah.
Gee.
Imagine that fact
Wow,
goes through
almost like a professional show.
Well,
The
you know what,
MC10,
Eli? The other thing we need to do is get an altar so we can sacrifice it once it gets it out.
Yes. So
I think at the base of the heron, the foot of the heron.
So
I was
here we
thinking if you
have-
put it on top of a Commodore 64, we can burn it on that and get two with one stone. You know?
There you go.
Hey,
It's like that
Steve.
movie Office Space. You use a bunch of
Don't
baseball
poke
bats.
the troll.
I was just doing that for
Steve,
Jim
what
Brain's
was the
benefit.
last? When was the last time you went to a CoCo Fest? Was it the one in Pittsburgh?
CoCo Fest was the one that you and I were at.
Yeah, where was that? Pittsburgh?
Oh,
No,
we're
Steve-
looking
Steve was
about
in
8 years
Chicago.
ago.
Yeah, Steve
Yeah,
was
the
in
last one was
Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago? It was Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
wow. This thing is pretty bulky.
Told
That's
you.
it. Here's the brick.
Okay, on the brick it should say what it outputs.
Okay, so the output is 8 volts, 1.5 amps. Yeah, here's
Okay.
the Radio Shack catalog number, model 26-3011 Alpha. So here we have it, folks. This is the actual
AC or
MC10.
AC or DC, yeah.
Output is AC, 8 volts, 1.5 amps. Yeah.
DC rocks.
This one's AC. Yeah, and so the input's 120 volt AC. The output is AC 8 volts. So yeah, it's outputting 8 volts AC.
Yep.
Hey, where's this chat room? I just scrolled on my window and I saw the chat going on. Where's this chat coming from?
On the Facebook live stream on the CoCoTALK Facebook page. This is a Facebook live stream. This whole thing was a kind of an experiment streaming to Facebook, and so far it's been very lucrative doing this. You have no idea the kind of money you can make streaming to Facebook.
Hey, you got to start pushing those emoticons because we don't have any angries yet.
No, we don't. Yeah, so we do have an emoji meter down here. We have not angered or saddened anyone. We have wowed at least one person and got 2 likes and 1 love. And this is, by the way, a telethon, and we are trying to get a wheelchair for Timmy. And so it really does depend on how many positive emojis we get. So
Is
all
that a
those
chat
things count.
room or are those Facebook comments? How do I get to
these
that?
are Facebook comments. If you go to my CoCoTalk live page, I have a CoCoTalk Facebook page, which is where this thing is streaming right now. I could probably add you to it. Let me see, Alan. Yeah, see if I can add you to the live stream. Alan Huffman, invite. I just invited you, Alan, to the live stream. Oh, there you go. Alan just said hello. Hello, Alan. Aren't you polite? All right. Well, it's after dark. It's the kids are in bed. Maybe not. Hopefully, everybody's had dinner. Maybe we're having a drink. What else do you guys want to talk about tonight? Anything? There's really no rules here. It is just doesn't even have to be about the CoCo. Uh-oh. There
Who's
we go.
sharing their screen again?
Screen hijacking.
I just put my camera on.
It's all going black.
That's all I did.
Is the audio on? Is the audio up?
No, well.
Oh, Bruce did, I think.
That's up to you.
Oh, there we go.
No,
the
we don't
Tandy
have.
color computer. Doomed to fade in obscurity.
We don't hear it. Rewind it and share your system sound too.
Share. How do you do that with Skype?
There's a little plus sign, and on the plus sign you can click share system sound.
Share. No, this is on the Mac. It just says start or stop screen sharing.
There'll be a plus.
Okay, let me look again. It says share screen. I get to pick the screen I want. Share. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about audio. This is it. Yeah.
Okay. Then you're
So
going to have to crank your speakers up to 11 so we can hear it.
Well, that's not going to work. No, that won't work. That won't work. Shoot. Yeah, it won't really work going through my microphone. Ah, crap. Maybe it's not meant to be.
That almost look like a commercial there.
Put it in a Google Drive and then I'll pull it up.
Google Drive. Okay, let me take a look.
Yeah, that'll take a minute or two.
Yeah, I'll look for that.
All right, so Mark, what are you making tonight? You making margaritas? Or is he still making your... You're muted.
He's still doing that lemon drop stuff.
You're still muted, Mark.
Lemon drop.
Lemon drop, okay. Very nice.
It's not muted, but I'm lagging. Lemon drop.
Okay. That's lovely.
Is that the official drink of the CoCo?
Well, last week he made a green concoction. He had some nuclear green martini that he had
Now, I'm looking in the background, and there's somebody else drinking one of those. I think he's a little underaged.
I still like Alan Huffman's, though. He's got the Jolt Cola, which is what I used to drink back in the day, too. So
yes.
Yes. But
I
this is
remember
Jolt
that.
and Jack.
Jolt and Jack. That is the first time I've heard those two words used together.
Because the last time it was out, we were underage.
That never stopped me.
Jolt and Jack. You gotta love it.
I am indebted to Curtis because I made a press release about Subita Software returning to the CoCo Fest, and we're going to bring all this stuff, but there won't be a Jolt because it doesn't exist anymore. And he replied, the internet is filled with smartasses. Oh, yeah, it is. Look, and gave me a link. And so that set me out to go find it. It's at Dollar General stores. Not all of them have it. It's $1 a can, and it's a 16-ounce can.
Extra jolty.
Yeah, 180 milligrams of caffeine.
All the sugar and twice the caffeine of a regular cola.
Yeah.
Alan,
Yes.
Remember the Atlanta Fest? We got some Coca-Cola.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, Nick Johnson has one of those bottles, and he sent me a picture of it. He still has it unopened. I wonder if enough people have died that I can share that story publicly.
Nobody believes us drunks anyway, so you can just go ahead and say right now.
All right, so Jolt Cola, I used to bring Jolt Cola to the CoCo Fest, and that's how we'd make the long drive. And in Atlanta, where the CoCo Fest was held from 1990 to 1995, of course, is world headquarters of Coca-Cola. And the first year the CoCo Fest was held there, does anybody on here remember what the sign at the hotel said?
Wasn't there.
It said, "Welcome Coca-Cola Fest."
Coca-Cola Fest.
Ooh.
Yes. So one of the members of the club was a chemist for Coca-Cola. And he knew that we always had Jolt Cola, and so he discreetly brought over a case of little glass bottles with the pop-off, the standard bottle caps on them. It was a test batch of Coca-Cola with the sugar and the caffeine souped up. So I've had actual Coca-Cola Jolt equivalent now, and that was a wonderful thing.
Wow.
It's uploaded now, Stevie.
Okay, you're able to share sound, or it's in the Google Drive?
It's in the Google Drive under videos.
All right, let me find that. We'll get that queued up, and maybe we'll take a quick commercial break before we play that. So let me find my Google Drive. We're going to go to CoCoTALK. We're going to go to videos. And the name of the video is called... Well, maybe it still has to sync on my side here. So it's on your end, but it's got to synchronize to mine. So let's see if my Google Drive is done syncing. Is it called Submerged Gameplay Part 5? No. CoCoTALK Rough Proto. Nope. It's not up to date yet for me.
Yeah, sort by last modified, and it should go to the top, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's not there yet.
You guys need a Tris box for CoCo badly.
Yeah. Well, we're using Google Drive. Okay, somebody's trying to call CoCoTALK number 42. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back. Listen to this cool little little jingle thing that Alan did for us. I love it. Check this out.
CoCoTALK After Dark.
Hey everybody, this is Bill Noble co-author of Nitrous 9. You are listening to CoCoTALK Live, the leading live Coco Talk show.
What's going on, everybody? The original gamer Stevie Stroh here, and I want to talk to you about I'mACoconut.com. If you love the color computer like I love the color computer, then you got to visit I'mACoconut.com, your one-stop shop for all of your Tandy color computer links needs. There you'll find links to blogs and podcasts and project sites and emulators and downloads and groups and communities. If you love the color computer, head on over to I'mACoconut.com. That's IMA. Coconut.com. Tell them the original gamer Stevie Stroh sent you. Coco forever, people. All right, well, I'm not seeing it yet, Bruce. It may just take a minute to synchronize on my end here. You put it in the normal CoCoTALK videos folder?
Is there an abnormal one?
Well, there's one called videos, but there's like folders inside there. So you put it in the primary folder called videos, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I am not seeing it yet. Unless is it called Coco Forever?
Yep.
That's the name of it. Okay, so here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to see the world premiere of... hold on, stop. I'm not ready yet.
We're stopping.
Sons of biscuits. Hold on 1 second here. We're going full screen. We'll do it live! All right, so here's the full screen. We're going to... We got to turn up the volume just a little bit. We got to rewind it.
You got to turn up a lot.
Turn up a lot. Okay, here we go.
211.
How does it feel? I'm still believing.
That's it.
All right. Not bad at all. So that is that's what's known as a teaser, right?
Yeah.
I want my money back.
Okay, Chris Shilliday says he's trying to call in via Skype. I'm not sure, Chris, if you are calling.
He was calling the wrong CoCoTALK.
Okay,
He's
you
calling
have
the Show 42.
Yeah, you need to call the CoCoTALK Skype CoCoTALK. So that's what happens when I'm on my beer and a half already. Start to lose.
We need to make a CoCoTALK ease of use edition.
Yes. It's the CoCoTALK Skype account. It's got to be easy to call.
Rename it to CoCoTALK Ease of Use.
Yeah, you guys say that. I've got 2 of them in my Skype right now. I don't even know what's going on. Am I here?
You are here.
Yeah, you're here.
Hey, Alan. Another story from Atlanta you might want to share is the booth that you created for the Price on Truth for Nick.
Oh my gosh, did you know I found another reference to that in somebody else's Fest report? They played along with the joke.
No,
Well,
we had a lot of fun with that.
Let us in on the joke. Yeah.
Well, somebody else would have to try to remember more than I can remember, but Nick Johnson, who had In Johnson Software, somewhere the phrase, "please do not urinate on the Klystrones," came into use and got overly used in messages or chats back then. And I don't remember what a Klystrone was. I think we looked it up. So at one of the Atlanta festivals, I arranged and paid for a second booth for a company called Klystronics. And they didn't show up, but they had letters piled on their table explaining why they weren't there. And inside the letter were little brackets with numbers occasionally just scattered through there. And if you took all the words next to the bracketed numbers and put them together, it said something, but I don't have the original. It's somewhere on a hard drive image. And I remember Nick finding them and going, "There's a company here called Klystronics." And so the running joke was, you know, they were selling used Klystrones with some slight water damage. It was a big in joke. And while I was scanning all the CoCo Fest paperwork the last couple of weeks, I ran across, maybe it was Rick Euland's Connect. It was some other company, and they had a little newsletter catalog, and in it they were describing things, and then out of the blue was one sentence that talked about the Klystrones that were available at the show, and he just played right along with it. So I'd like to collect all of those, because I didn't realize other people played along, and I forwarded that to Nick. I found him on Facebook a while back, and so the joke lives on.
Alan,
and that's actually
do you think maybe he wasn't playing? Maybe he thought it was real?
That's really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Klystron is a high power vacuum tube used in broadcasting applications.
So please don't urinate on the high powered vacuum is what they're asking us to not do then, right?
Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I think Chris tried to join the call. I'm not sure if Chris is here or not. Chris, can you hear us? He appears to be having some.
Yeah, we're still trying to call the episode 42.
Well, he's here now, but it's kind of buffering in. And
okay.
Hey, Jim Brain, how you doing? You're gonna use your words today, or are you just gonna text us all day long?
You guys were off and running, so I thought I'd just sit there and listen. You guys are always room for lots of fodder. I don't have to say a whole lot sometimes.
He's building his repertoire for trolling.
That's right. I am.
Like a true troll.
I am. Nobody. I was somewhat ineffective today during the day, so I'll have to make up for it tonight.
Well, he's right now hiding under the bridge.
That's right. I am.
Oh my Lord! So we are, John Linville. We're 10 days away from the end of January. When can we expect the next episode of the CoCo Crew podcast?
He's probably working on
it.
Richard Lorbieski. Yeah, Neil
Blanchard, Neil Brookins.
Hey guys. Yeah, the podcast should be ready pretty soon. Probably within a week, I would say.
Excellent.
Yep.
Do we have more Myro segments to look forward to?
Oh yeah, some good juicy ones.
I don't know how that man does it, but God bless him.
We don't know.
Hey Neil, were you able to find those two guys and interview them, or one at least?
I think John's working on that. He's got an interview schedule set up. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neil talking about the guy that made the CoCo run the stove.
Oh yeah, that was neat. That was neat.
I saw that. That was cool.
Yeah, this guy is awesome, guys. He used to run a large BBS with Model 4, and he had all kinds of hard drive space, all kinds of programs on it. And
I really enjoyed seeing that picture and kind of reading the whole thing, even though I don't completely understand electronics and integration stuff. It was kind of neat to read. And it's something you wouldn't think about using a computer control in a wood-burning, barrel-type stove, but it's pretty clever, honestly.
Yeah, that thing was done back in the late 80s, early 90s, something like that, and it ran for quite a while. In fact, he still has the CoCo and the hookup. I don't know whether he's still using it, but it's still there.
That one should follow under why didn't Tandy do that? Tandy, you could have branched out. You had home controllers. Now you got a stove controller.
How are we doing on our emojis there, Steve?
Well, let's see. We've got one angry. So hopefully that'll still help Timmy. We got 2 loves, 3 likes, and then we've got a wow. And we've got 1 angry right now. So I'm not sure who we've angered, but we got to work a little harder to piss off some more people, apparently. So. So somebody we don't get to speak to a lot is actually Peter Cetinski. So you want to give us a little update on what you've been working on, or maybe what we've perhaps missed out if we haven't been listening to the Trash Talkers lately.
Well, why haven't you been listening?
I listened today.
We just released a new episode 20 of the podcast, which is a large portion is highlights from our live show that we did at the end of last year.
Okay.
And we also had an interview with Tandy engineer Jerry Heap, which was really great, really fun guy to talk to. We talked to him for about an hour.
That was a great interview. That was a very good interview, Pete.
Hey, when did you do that interview with him, Pete?
Probably end of November, maybe.
I haven't talked to Jerry since it's been some years back since I was doing the book. How's he doing?
He's great, fun guy. Your name came up. He mentioned because he was talking about Project Green Thumb and how he shared a lot of that information with you. So yeah,
Great. I'm gonna have to listen to the podcast. I haven't heard from Jerry in a while.
Sure. He's essentially the grandfather of the CoCo, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. Any projects you've been working on lately, Mr. Cetinski?
I'm putting the finishing touches on my new TRS-80 Model 1.3 game called Breakdown, which is a version of Breakout, but with some features of Tetris. So basically, you knock out bricks, but bricks can fall on you. And I have all the basic game mechanics working. Now I'm just adding different levels. So maybe in another month or so, I'll release it. My plan is to release it on cassette tape. Possibly cassette tape only, just to be difficult. I don't know.
That's the best marketing strategy I've ever heard.
Well, as long as it comes in a Ziploc bag, then it's fully authentic.
I told my wife to price out Ziploc bags when she went shopping today, so...
This cassette tape has been sealed for freshness. That's awesome. There was an Apple II one that was released that way too recently, right? On the baggie with the insert and the cassette tape.
So are you going to purposely introduce an iOS or two on one or two of the copies on the tape to really legitimize it like the old stuff? Or?
Every third tape will be a little crinkled or something messed up so you can't load. Just for that true vintage experience.
The question I got for you is, how are you going to find a manufacturer for recording those tapes?
It's called me. My Model 1 and my Tandy TRS-80 tape recorder.
Yeah.
The guy who did Alien Downpour. The guy who did Alien Downpour for the Apple, he had his own recording deck, which was high quality, and then he had 3 different units he used for testing to make sure it was a good copy.
Wow, is the CoCoTALK still on?
Oh, Nick!
Yeah, well, this is CoCoTALK After Dark, Nick. Welcome back, Nick.
No, Nick. They've been on for the last 7.5, 8 hours.
Some of us have, actually. That's the sad part, yeah.
I didn't miss the girls jumping out of the cake, did I?
Not yet.
They're just about ready to jump back in the cake, I think, by this point.
Or jump off a cliff. Yeah, you got to pour yourself a drink, Nick. Drinking is encouraged. Drinking is encouraged to get through this show.
Drinking is necessary to get through this show.
There's our favorite.
What do they call it? A system requirement.
Yeah, I'd say.
There's one thing missing. I can see straight off. David Ladd. Oh no, there he is. No,
David.
Yeah,
There he is.
Expected. Well,
I'm not sure who is Chris Shilliday trying to call right now.
Let the heckling begin.
Well, it's just that he's being really quiet.
All right, look, Chris is having a hard time connecting with us right now. I'm not sure why. I'm going to try to add Chris Shilliday in again. Chris, you need to make sure you have the latest version of Skype, too. I am not sure why this is being such a challenge.
You don't want to use the Windows 98 one.
Yes, I believe Microsoft dropped support for that last week.
You need at least the OS 9, Nitrous 9 version 3.3 to run Skype, so...
So, Bill, what you been up to lately? We were talking about compilers earlier. We talked about CMOC today. Have you been playing with that at all?
A little bit. I'm starting to add a couple of libraries to it now. Or library routines, I should say. Coming along. Boisy already noticed a bug in the actual Crider and microware key libraries floating point, so we got to look at a little bit different route there.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I know enough to be dangerous, but at least I can kind of keep up with the conversation when I hear about these adult topics, compilers and programming languages and things like that. So, pretty cool stuff.
It didn't seem it today. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm actually beginning to like this CMOC compiler.
Hey, it looks like Chris made it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
We can hear you, Chris. How
I've
are
only been
you?
trying this for 2 weeks. You would never know that I worked in IT for a living.
Yeah.
Evidently, you need to find another job.
Yes.
There's a combination of Skype Personal and Skype Enterprise installed on my machine at the same time. They weren't happy.
I see. Well, welcome to CoCoTALK After Dark, Chris. And how are you, man?
Good, thank you. Thank you. This is an interesting.
Thanks for
This is
joining
an
us.
interesting broadcast. I love it.
Yeah. Well, we usually do it during the day, and we try to pretend to have a serious, professional, well-run show. But when we do it at night, we just kinda
basically
don't
just
care.
give up at this point. So
Yeah.
Interesting is the right word.
Chris, I like
So
the
what's your-
real computers in the background there.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you. I'm new to CoCo. I got my first CoCo off eBay 2 weeks ago. I've been collecting Model 3s, 4s, 4Ps, 2s, 12s, and 16s for a lot of years. So I'm a new
Okay.
CoCo guy, but I had an MC10 when I was a kid. So.
This is.
We're so sorry.
No, we're not.
You're talking about one of these right here?
Oh,
It's-
there it is.
Hey.
It isn't even yellow.
Show,
Put it up again so I can shoot.
save the.
Well, it's not yellow.
You need to
It stays in the box.
We need to modify.
doorstops in
We need
stereo.
to modify some of your games. Modify popcorn to look like MC10 and just let them all fall.
No.
Bjork is
The targets in shooting gallery are MC10.
There you go. Make them all MC10.
Well, it's more powerful
Sounds like a
than my
video game.
TRS-80 data terminal.
Hey, Jim Gary's here. Jim Gary says, "Yay! Hey, welcome, Jim Gary. Nice to have you there, Jim. Jim Gary, the champion of the MC10. So, it's a neat little machine. Even though, according to someone, it killed the deluxe color computer.
Someone is bitter.
Yeah.
No.
Somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Oh, God.
It's better than a ZX80.
that's true.
Better than a ZX80. It says. Right.
Hey, Steve.
I think we're falling behind on our. Yes. Which one?
Bjork.
Yeah.
Steve, you've been on these now for a long time, so I was surprised to see that you're like a regular here. Have you ever shown them the little prototype gimme chips or any of that stuff you showed me like 20 years ago?
Nope.
Never mind.
All right, now he's hiding.
Alan,
Now
it just
the-
shows I swear you in confidence to keep this secret, and you have to go blab on the internet.
Sorry,
Alan,
forget
you
I
forgot
said
about
that.
that
Different
NDA, didn't
Steve.
It's okay. Nobody's watching this crap. So.
Well, there we go. Finally, some truth.
Troll 1.
You remember that time we were in Area 51 and we shook hands with the alien life forms? Oh, I wasn't supposed to talk about that.
Now they're going to laser you.
Yes.
Lasers.
Frickin' laser. All right.
Or
Well, welcome to everybody who's watching us. There we go, David Ladd. David Ladd had to take it below the belt. In case you didn't hear that, repeat that, David.
I said.
And now he gets quiet.
I said basically they had to anal probe you for divulging that information.
Yes.
And downhill we go.
We went there.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go. There we go.
I do have my Australian licorice now, though.
All right, I've got my jar of Vegemite nearby.
It's eating. It's soft eating licorice. Eating. I don't know what other kind of licorice there is. They're like looking at licorice.
Smelling. Stuff
Smelling. Oh.
moving into other orifices. Hey, you
Yeah, I was
never
going
know.
to say, check out some of the fetishes. You'll find out what some of the other uses are for.
How come it's not black?
What's that?
What are you eating there, Mark? Is that the lemon rind from your lemon drop there?
Yep.
There you go. Strawberry eating licorice. How many flavors of eating licorice do you have there, Jason? Strawberry, kookaburra.
Kookaburra?
Is that kookaburra?
No. It has to be Australian. Look, it has Australia on the package.
So they grind up kookaburras and make licorice out of them? Is that what I'm understanding here?
Yummy.
I'm not sure. This is a new brand for me. I just saw this at the candy shop and I picked it up when I picked up the other two.
Did they make it from dried up Vegemite?
I'm all excited about the gimme chips that Mr. Bjork has.
That's just a rumor.
Those don't exist.
Yeah, that's
We can neither confirm nor deny. Allegations. Okay, somebody's trying to call a CoCoTALK After Dark previous group. We need to delete the old groups so people don't call them. Whoever's trying to call Skype right now, you just need to call the CoCoTALK contacts.
Bill Noble?
So search your contacts.
No, I'm here.
Is it Bill Noble? No, it might be Bill Noble's wife from the other room as she watches TV at a very loud
And
level.
coughs very
You
loudly.
just never know.
It was Mr. Lorbieski that was calling that channel.
Oh, we are totally fat when he gets on.
Party foul, party foul.
He knows better.
I'm better now that I have a drink.
Yes. That was a major party foul. I'm going to need a drink refill here in just a minute.
I gotta catch up. I was on the road for 45 minutes, so I have to catch up now.
So what have you guys been talking about?
Crickets.
There's cue the
Nuclear
crickets.
fission. Yeah, speaking of crickets, here comes Richard Lorbieski.
Are you sharing your screen,
Boisy.
Steve?
Am I sharing my screen? No, but I'm broadcasting it as my camera. So if you click on me, you should
Hey,
be able
Boyle.
to
I always have a hard time
Tech,
clicking on
when
you.
you gonna
It's
figure
not
out
on
how
my
to
list.
do this?
Yeah.
Hey, who's
Hey,
using
Richard.
my copyrighted cricket sounds?
Hey, listen, as a guy who steals other people's designs, I thought you'd appreciate that. So.
Thank you very much.
Besides, we figure if
I
you don't know
gotta
how to
steal
use
some
Skype,
sounds
you
of
won't
my
know
own.
how to do any filing for copyright infringement. So.
So what did we miss today on the show? We didn't get to why did Tandy do that?
One thing that I was hoping to do is get some reviews from the alpha testers from the ease of use, just to see, from people that are not OS9 familiar with how they did with it, or any issues, or that kind of thing. But we didn't want to go to hour 4.
So we'll pause here for just a second. Do we have anybody here? By the way, let's look at our emoji meter right now. We've got 5 likes, 4 loves, and 1 wow.
Angry.
So
Yeah, we lost our angry.
yeah,
we lost the angry.
We lost our angry. We lost the angry. So is there anybody here right now who has been using the Alpha 2 of ease of use who wants to talk about that? We'll start by seeing who's available for. By the way, Ron, it looks like you're at a barber shop around Delvaux. Are you getting ready to get your hair cut or beard trimmed? Looks like you're wearing
You
like
said,
one of those.
let our hair down.
He's got a snuggie.
It looks like you're wearing one of those things they put around you when you go to get your hair cut.
Oh, no,
your shirt.
this
I
is
mean,
just
it
the
looks
shirt.
like
My chair.
Okay. No, it just you look like you're at the barbershop.
He got
I
a
don't know
little
why.
paper thing around his neck.
It looks like you're wearing one of those things they put around you when you go to get your hair cut. Your shirt. I mean, it looks like it's my shirt.
Okay, so who
He's got the religious thing going. It's got like a big
little paper thing around his neck.
somebody needs to.
Ouch. Whoever has the
Okay,
Facebook
that was
open,
Chris.
turn down the sound on it.
Yeah.
Mute the sound. I think that was Chris. I suspected it was Chris. I hung up on him. Chris, call back when you've fixed your sound issue. All right. So what I was getting ready to ask, though, is anybody able to speak about their Nitrous 9 experiences? And if so, raise your hand or speak up, and then I'll take a quick commercial. We'll come back and we'll talk about that. Ron Delvaux, you want to talk about Nitrous 9? Have you been using it?
I have been using it briefly. So I can briefly say something. Briefly.
And actually,
okay. So we.
Please be brief.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and we'll hear about Ron Delvaux's ease of use experience.
CoCoTALK After Dark.
Hey, have you got your CoCo 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer.
Only the bravest souls enter. Only the most cunning return. Defeat innumerable monsters to ransom the king's scepter, stolen by the evil wizard. Your sword, shield, and wits are your only allies. Pray you find a magical inn as your only respite in the forest of doom.
For the Tandy color computer 1, 2, and 3.
November 2017, if you dare.
Whoa, there we have a little trailer there for Forest of Doom. Great little product thrown together by, it's a foreign product though, you know.
Yeah, well, I still haven't eaten it yet.
Came from one of those shithole countries, but
speak for yourself.
But we happen to have we happen to have the author of Forest of Doom is with us here, Bruce Moore. Great little country, a great little program though. But yeah,
we're gonna come to CoCo Fest with our hockey sticks and beat the crap.
Bench clearing brawl time.
Yeah, pitch over the head with a bottle of maple syrup.
Yep.
Actually, those Canadians have an unfair advantage. They're stuck in their houses for so long during the year that they got extra time to work on stuff.
Yep, that's true.
I literally did not leave the house for a couple of days because of that. It's all true. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to say something real quick since that commercial came up, and since we have Bruce here, it's been really thrilling for me. And we pissed somebody off. We've got an angry emoji here, so awesome! Woohoo! we will work harder.
Canadian.
We will work harder.
Canadian.
Yes, we'll work harder to anger more of you. Give us time. It's been pretty exciting being able to kind of debut all kinds of things on CoCoTALK. You know, like I can't even remember all the things that we've had these world premieres of, but just going from the top of my head, going, you know, like when when the speech sound pack was emulated, we got Tim Lindner on to talk about that. That was really cool.
That was very cool.
You know, the Pac-Man transcode, we got to see that publicly, the full release of that, Rick Adams' bomb threat and Forest of Doom. And so, you know, CoCoTALK has almost become like a launch pad for new software. And it's been really, it's been an honor and it's been thrilling to be able to do that and to be part of that, you know, kind of be on the inside and be able to share that and stuff like that. So, Forest of Doom, you know, the launch party was a lot of fun. Our live streaming of the games, we had a couple of marathons with that. I think Jason said, and that quote needs to go on the website. It was like the most fun he's had on his CoCo, and as long as he can remember. I'm probably screwing up the quote a little bit, you know, but yeah. So for me, it's really cool. I get I get goosebumps sometimes thinking about it. How we get to do this, So thanks for sharing that with us, Bruce.
We did previews of Bomb Squad and such.
Yeah, Bomb Squad too.
Bomb
Yep,
Squad.
Yep. And we got to see Handy Andy and
Bomb
everything
Threat.
else. Yeah. Bomb
And don't
Threat.
forget Fun Star
Yeah.
Pilot.
And Fun Star.
Fun Star. Yeah. So. Yes. So back to ease of use. So for those who do not know what the ease of use edition of Nitrous 9 is, why don't you tell us what that is real quick, Curtis? And then we'll hear it from Ron Delvaux, what his experience is working on the current alpha.
Actually, I was going to ask first, too, before we get into that. Nick's also been playing with it a bit. Grant's got it. I don't know if he's had a chance to play with it too much, so we can get a couple of opinions there, depending on who wants to talk about it. But basically, we're trying to make a distribution of Nitrous 9 that has everything pre-installed, ready to go. You just fire it up and run. And you don't have to worry about trying to install stuff like where Alan was talking about earlier.
And forgot to switch modes. Whoever's screen sharing.
That's me.
But basically, it's to be a pre-set up, ready to go for all the games. You've been programming languages, everything else. The eventual goal is to get everything possible installed on it, and then you just download a hard drive image, you put it on your CoCo SDC, or you put it in VCC or MAME, and you just run it. And you don't have to worry about all the weird installs or having device drivers and descriptors and stuff set up. So ease of use, that's the purpose.
Okay.
And double click GUI type stuff too.
He's having trouble.
Ron, you looks like you got
I can't do it.
6309 enabled.
It is.
Yeah.
So change VCC. You can change the processor.
Yeah, change the processor.
It was 6309, and it was 6309. I'll show you again. Okay. All right. And then
Ease of Crash. This is a special edition.
It's just that easy.
So go to configuration and look at what your CPU is.
I changed it.
So right now
it says 6809 on the bottom.
MC
In the commercial.
Okay. Good. CPU.
All right.
There you go. 6309.
Apply.
Same memory.
512K.
Do you have to hit apply first, or does it okay work as well?
I usually do apply.
That's what I do too.
There we go.
Okay. Well, now it's not crashing. Okay.
Well, if it had crashed again, it'd be just like any other modern operating system.
Local version of Spectre or something, yeah.
Loading 49 fonts. That's a whole lot of fonts, don't you think?
You can never have too many fonts. So.
Does that eat up RAM at all, having those many fonts?
A little bit, but not too much. It's pretty small.
Out of your 512, it does use a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir. And now we're loading up G Shell, the graphic.
And notice the
shell.
trash can designed by Nick Marentes.
Marentes, yes.
How do you like that?
And we just changed it. Just changed to 80 columns now. I think you need to maximize this now, because the ratio is off.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, did Nick change the drive icons too?
You got a 16 color mode.
It's a bit slower though.
Yeah.
It's definitely recommended to run in the 4-color mode
Okay.
because it's a lot faster for G Shell.
So the purpose of ease of use is for somebody who's not familiar with Nitrous 9 and somebody who's not necessarily command line fluent, they can boot up to G Shell and just start using a point-and-click interface and launching programs and at least experiencing running software and multitasking applications, if nothing else, right?
All right, so how do I view something here?
Go into one of the directories because those are just the AIFs. I got to fix that up on G Shell. I've been talking about that with Boisy and a few others.
All right, then what?
Should just have to double click one of the ones that actually has a little picture of the person, not the zip file.
Okay.
That's a fun thing.
Pictures of Pac-Man.
Yep, that's actually from Pac Dude Monster Maze.
Yep.
Okay.
This is actually part of the distribution of the source code for Pac Dude Monster Maze. He actually included those images. That's where he grabs the shapes and the background masks like you see there.
Okay. Yeah.
It's pretty quick. Did you notice
Yeah,
how
it
it
is.
just snaps?
Yeah.
Actually, Ron,
we have
you're on
GIFs.
real CoCo?
This is VCC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is your
Look at that GIF. Look at
I
that.
have been doing it on my CoCo 3 in the garage. And my 6309 and 6809 both work fine with it. It's great.
Have you noticed much of a speed difference between the two?
Yeah, the 6309's faster.
Wow, this one. Look at the dithering here. This.
Yeah,
guy
this
loading up
I should explain this a bit too. The new version of View I did for the 6309 only would properly display this with an animated GIFs, but that version also apparently I'd broken the color CoCo Max
Homer
3.
Simpson. No!
I'd broken the CoCo Max 3 CM3 file viewing, so I put the old version of View back in so that would work, but it doesn't quite display these animated GIFs properly. You need the new version for that. I'll fix all that up too.
So just cycles once through, right?
On that version of View, yes. So there's an updated version that would actually do it properly, but I've got to fix the bug I introduced first.
Now, how do I look at docs here?
Just click one and then click list or files and then select list.
So click this and then files list.
Yeah. And depending how they're formatted, some are formatted for 80 columns, some are formatted for 40. So.
Yeah, this is what I was doing when I was playing with it.
A document.
And then I
preview.
tried to go back and look. You can't.
Yeah, no, that's
you
just
can't.
that one's just a dumb list. There are some programs like View VU that will actually let you go back and forth and left and right if it's too wide. And
you can,
like I said, we're just starting to get everything set up. There's a bunch of alternative things that are better. So this is just kind of the bare minimum stuff.
It's okay. It's something to play with.
Well, on the Mac Finder, you just press spacebar and you can preview any document.
I found out that if you hit this little black square, you go back one.
Yep. It's true.
Yeah,
look at
that's
that.
true.
You can go to
And
demos too there, Ron.
Let's see what happens here.
Jim Gary is requesting to run something that requires the VDG.
That's
did you
not
actually get that working yet, Kurt? No.
Okay.
no, and especially in
I'm-
VCC. VCC for me, it crashes on the VDG quite a bit, so I got to figure out what's going on there.
How do I get out of this?
Just hit Control E.
Control E. Okay, good. Thank you. Well, that's something that answered my... Okay, where do you want me to go? Demos?
Yeah.
Bounce?
Run SE Maze because Alan Huffman wrote that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
What do I do? Oh, arrow key.
Arrow keys, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't seen that in a while.
Now, was that written in C or assembly, Alan?
This is in C, and it uses double buffering, so you don't see the screen redraw, because apparently that's what the game people do.
Yeah, we don't like Flickr.
Now, I should send you my work-in-progress Pac-Man game. That's what this was going to become. It drew the dots down the hallway, and you would actually have to walk through the Pac-Man maze and collect all the dots. And then I have another prototype that was going to be an OS 9 version of Phantom Slayer.
Oh.
So how do I end this? I tried Control E, nothing happened.
I think Q.
Yeah, it actually said on the splash screen, but I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't get out until you find
You're
the
right.
exit.
Okay.
And then GUI demo is a Basic 09 package that Nick actually quite likes the looks of. So.
Yeah, this is actually quite good.
And if you're writing a program in Basic 09, there's a whole library of stuff you can call with some documentation for it. You can actually create all these things in your own basic programs. Let you have
Why do I
manually draw it.
recognize Sean Dreskel? What did he do? What's Sean do? I know that name.
He did a lot of stuff. He did the GUI stuff. He did the one of the Shanghai ports. He did that Stranded and Out of Gas game. Like probably a bunch of others I can't remember off the top of my head.
Wow, I've never seen this.
Yeah, this is a very nice package for Basic 09.
Yeah.
Richard's saying he lived in San Diego. Ah, this is a neat little screen UI.
Yeah, you could do a whole lot more with Basic 09 than you could do with Disk Basic, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, so far we've been witnessing EOU.
Don't select format.
Ease of
And then there's the
but
games
if
folder you
he
can go into
did
too.
that-
So go ahead,
Curtis,
Dave.
if he selects format, at least then he won't have to worry about having to click on anything anymore.
Who made the icon for SE Maze?
Me. Pretty
wow,
crappy,
that's
eh?
really cool. Thank you. That's neat.
What's this?
Curtis, did you get a Rogue fixed?
Well, we were trying to figure that out before. What were you talking about Rogue fixed? I mean, I've been crunching it, and I had a couple of bugs. I fixed one of the bugs I introduced. The other one's pretty minor, but...
No, I couldn't get to launch on mine.
Oh, this is the boot disk. Yeah.
Yeah, go back to DD, because the boot disk is just to basically get it going. And then
Anything
go
else you want to see?
You can try graphics, apps, or games would probably be the other two to look at. The rest is more like just getting stuff set up.
Now this is the one problem that that didn't take too long.
No.
It does on a real CoCo.
Zone or track or what?
Oh, he's also running at 6.26 megahertz, so he's running at 3 times the CoCo speed.
I thought so because it's not normal there.
Click on Rogue and see if it works on his.
Go to the top left.
Yeah, now you're playing it on a really small window.
It's going to be small, yeah.
Oh, that's what that box
Yeah,
is doing?
size and placement box, yeah. And this is where I patch it so the graphics font works no matter what size of window you're on, because the original didn't do that.
Okay. And this is still very much a work in progress, yes?
Yeah. I mean, this version that's on there works just fine, but I've been crunching it down even more, so... And I'm going to also set it up so you can actually send a command line parameter to change a font, because there's a couple rogue fonts other people had made, and if you have a preference, you can tell it to default to the one.
All right, how do you get out of this?
Hit the space bar first, because it's waiting for you to finish reading that top line. And just keep hitting it till it's finished.
Oh.
And then if you want to quit, hit Shift-Q.
I don't know what the value is of resizing the windows. It's clearly too small.
Yeah.
Well, I set it up so the default size it comes up with is the minimum size it can require to run, but you can expand that and move it around. Like from one of my earlier demos, I put Rogue and Zone Runner side by side on the same screen because they're both resizable.
And could you play both at the same time?
Yeah, not well, but yeah.
Yeah.
Clear, shift, you know.
So I think the best thing about this whole thing was the trash can.
Oh, hey, great. All the work we put into Nitrous 9 in 25 years, and you like Nick's trash can he hacked up together in 15 minutes. Thanks, Grant.
Okay, I'll quit so you guys can go back to your 16-year-old talk.
So Grant, you've been playing with it too,
yes,
right?
I have.
And you've never used OS 9 before,
That's
right?
correct.
So this is that you are an ideal candidate of having no previous experience. And what are your thoughts with the ease of use edition?
It's definitely a lot easier than I remember. When I first started, back in March on OS 9.
Can we put some more icons on the screen?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
I've just removed
Ron,
some.
That's supposed to be a few icons on the desktop, not a desktop full of icons.
No.
I have to clean
He's fooling you. That's actually just his wallpaper.
That's that is the ease of use version of Windows that Ron's running there. Right
when
now,
I brainstorm, I do that.
So a question for Ron and Grant here for me, since I'm the idiot that wrote the docs for it. Were the docs understandable? Is there anything that's unclear?
Actually, that's what I was about to say. I think the docs helped a lot. I mean, it gave you a few basic ideas and how to do some things and how to get around them. I'm sure there's a lot more to learn than just that, but it definitely is a good starting point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he call it a Nitrous 9 for the color computer or the color computer?
Yeah. One thing I will also recommend is getting Boisy's stock from the Nitrous 9 Source Forge for the upgrade itself for 3.3.0.
Is that more of a technical spec, or is that a general beginner?
No, it's kind of a rewrite on the actual manual that it gives a little bit of the extra system calls. And
okay. It's a bit more technically minded than what I'm shooting for on this, but
yeah.
I mean,
did we lose Steve Bjork?
Oh, maybe he did.
Yeah, I stepped away to grab a beer and I come back and Steve's not here.
I guess there's just not enough MC10 talk going on to keep his interest.
Yeah.
He went to go get the gimme chips.
We've got 3 angries right now. We are doing something right.
Hey, you know
I have
what?
a show and tell.
I put a different distribution of OS 9 in. I don't know what it was, but I think it's Nitrous 09, maybe an older version. And I did G-Shell and a ungraphical graphic come up of the drives and everything.
Yeah, the original G-Shell was pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. But it was usable to a degree. And I thought, wow, what a difference. If everybody started with that one and then sees the new one, it's like, wow, what a difference.
Well, that's the whole purpose of this EU package, to make it enticing for the new OS 9 person to get into it, basically. I mean,
and then hopefully some of the people, not everybody will, some people just use it as a game launcher type thing, but I'm hoping that some people will get interested then in Basic 09 and eventually CMOC and assembly and whatever else. It's a good learning platform.
It could be a launch pad.
Yeah, I got a Basic 09 question.
Sure.
I was just running level 1 in XROAR, and I got into Basic 09, and I made a little hello world, and I saved it, and now where is it?
Wherever your default directory was when you fired up Basic 09.
Yeah,
right. Which would be what?
What's your current data directory?
Wait, say again?
What's your current data directory?
Oh, I don't know. I've closed it. What I've done is I've got the disk open now in Image Tool, and I'm just trying to browse through there and see if I can find it. So I see CMDS and sys and defs and nitrous.
Why don't he share his screen?
I could.
Yeah, we can probably help you then. Bill,
okay.
You built this one for him. Do you have any different data directory setup?
What I sent him was a raw 80-track double-sided level 1 6809.
Okay, so which is this disk here, which I've opened in Image Tool, and so where do I find that little Hello World file that I just saved? Where do I look for that?
Oh, okay. Well, what
did you pack it or did you just save the source?
I just went save and I did that little arrow key and said no, I didn't pack nothing. Just hello world.bo9 is what I said. So it should be on this disk somewhere, right?
That the boot disk?
You saved the source. It should be on the root, but I don't see it there.
On the VHD file, though.
Bill, does this one have a hard drive image and a floppy boot, or is this just a floppy?
No, this is straight floppy.
Yeah, this is just a floppy.
Oh.
Okay.
What's the other file down there that says copy of?
Oh, that was just my backup copy.
Did you accidentally run the copy?
Well, I don't think so. So here's my... Hey, is there any way to make XROAR run fast like VCC?
You'd have to ask Kieran.
Yeah, I don't think so, but you'd have to ask him,
Okay. Well, here goes. La 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 la. Come on. Come on.
This is riveting TV, folks.
Wait for it.
Yes,
Wait
it is.
for it.
It's only coming.
It's coming.
Stay on
Stay on target.
Stay on
Is
target.
it making the hard drive noise?
If you set CoCo 2B, I think you get the one with the lowercase.
Yeah, in X-Roar.
Well, this is X-Roar. So
Yeah, an
you can do that in
X-Roar.
X-Roar too?
Well, yeah. Okay.
Dur.
A dir here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Affirmative.
okay.
You just type CoCo 2B, you say?
It's in the pull-down menu for machines. CoCo 2B is a 64K color computer with the T1 lowercase chip.
Go up to
Or
hardware.
if I run the that
I'm
same,
gonna blow this up if I do that, but that's where it is.
Yeah, you'll have to type DOS again. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want.
Is
I
there
don't
a
want to wait for that.
Is there a command you can run to search for a file based on its extension or by a wildcard?
Yes, there is, but it's not installed with stock. It's on the
It's on the-
Nitros
Well,
distribution.
It's on the ease of use distribution too. There's about 4 or 5 of them.
Ease of use, but Bruce does
I-
not have that right now.
No, this is the unease of use.
Yeah.
This is level 1.
Okay, this is the original. Hey, Jason, I think your dad's here. Or a relative. Ken. Oh, Ken. Is that Ken? Is that Ken? Okay, I just knew it was a relative. Same last name. Is that Ken? Ken make it?
Ken can't make it. That's my brother.
Okay, that's Ken. Okay,
Ken
Ken.
can't
All right.
really
I
make
just
it.
saw the last name. All right.
Hey.
He just chimed in the live chat.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
When you mounted the disk image, did you set it to be read only?
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh, well, I didn't set it to anything. Do I have to? Maybe I have to set it to. Well,
Yeah, the
you put
disk
it in-
images. Yeah, by default, X-Roar loads the disk image into memory as a copy, so any changes get thrown away. But in the pull-down menu, you can turn on write back, and there's a second option that one of them lets it be writable, the other one lets it save back to disk. So when you eject the disk, it has your changes. But by default, it's meant for like people who just want to load something and play it, and it doesn't let you accidentally screw it up.
yeah. Well, so I don't know if you can see. Can you see this? Is this screen like really
Yeah.
small?
Yeah, it's fine.
It says
But
write enable.
It's okay.
We see
Yeah, so that says write enable, so I should be okay, right?
Yes.
Write enable lets you write to the RAM copy. Write back will write it back to the file on disk when you eject the disk.
Oh. Well, I kind of want it to stay on the disk. Yeah.
Ah, that might be
Yeah,
why it
yeah,
didn't
right back.
show up.
You can make a little text file to drop in where you put the ROMs. It's just a couple of little lines, and you can have that all by default, tell it which machine to run. So you just, open it up and it's there, and all those options are there.
I'd stick it on a line there like that. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this didn't just blow.
Something
this didn't
like
blow
that.
up just now. So supposedly, I can. See how do I get out of this? Q, right?
Yeah.
Q.
Q.
And then I go
Save
Star.
I want to give it a name here, so I'll just call it hello. Like that.
Oh no! Actually,
No greater than though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Bruce.
Just save and then
When
the
you're
name.
doing save, do
Yeah.
save star, whatever file name.
Yeah, not the greater than, because now you're trying to redirect it to.
Yeah, you're redirecting.
Great, and now of course I'm on a keyboard
Star.
that's not. I don't have a star.
Try Shift colon or Shift semicolon.
The star was up by the colon, yeah.
Or asterisk.
I'm on a Mac here, and it's a Mac
Yeah,
keyboard.
you don't have the full keyboard on the Mac either, do you?
No. Oh.
Try the
Ah,
minus
yes.
key.
I can hear the yells.
Oh, there it is.
Ease of use.
Right.
There we go.
Up.
Set score. Now I give it a name.
Yeah,
Is this
save
right?
star space name.
Yes, star has to be right after the word save.
It will save all procedures in one file.
Do you have to put an extension?
No,
No.
It's recommended so you recognize the file
don't
later when you're
have
looking
to,
for it.
yeah.
But
It's recommended.
Rewrite.
yeah, because you redirected last time, so you probably a prompt in there or something.
Ooh. Okay.
Now do $dir
Wow, that's taking a while.
Hello, Basic 09. Now it's on the
Okay,
disc.
so if I get out of here now, here's the big test. I want to use this sucker and see if I can find it here. So, wait, how many of these have I got now? Well, I think it's that one. Hey, there it is. So I should be able to open this, extract this file, and I'll dump it in there. Get out of here. Wait, where did I put it again? Oh.
So now he's lost it on the Mac side.
Yeah. No, well, this is actually Windows. I'm running Boot Camp here, so hey, look at that. So I can use this Win Image tool to edit Basic 09, and I can get it back onto that disk. And looks like I can go back and forth. Well,
Yep.
It's slightly painful, but
Yeah. Well, I actually
better than a built-in editor.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, Bruce, I actually prefer Toolshed's OS9 or DECD.
Okay, what's better about that one?
They actually give a little bit more functionality, but the only problem with it's a command line tool.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to use.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to use.
So you'd probably just make some batch files and make it go real zippy.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
I have a rogue bat that actually copies the image, the source code over, and then fires up the MAME in my case immediately with it.
Right. Yeah, I can do that with this image tool as well. I can use command line switches too. So yeah, maybe that'll work. So now I was asking for level 1 because I wanted to make sure I was CoCo 2 compatible, but could I feasibly be using
yes
level 2 and then just, you said yes already.
Yeah, it's the same version of Basic 09. It's just there's some extra libraries and stuff available to use the Color Computer 3 modes.
Yes, the Basic 09 between level 1 and level 2 are almost identical.
Almost.
There's a couple of slight differences, but that's version number.
Nothing that'll affect you. Just like the 6 through 9 version has a different signal handling routine to handle the stack for a 6 through 9 in native mode. But as a Basic 9 programmer, you don't have to worry about any of that.
So I might want to use level 2 on VCC so I can run it faster or something, and maybe get 80 columns or something like that.
Yeah, for editing and testing your code. I mean, you can still run it on the 32 column just to make sure it fits on right where you want stuff on the screen for a CoCo 1 or 2.
Right.
Works
and I can always throw it into XROR just to see whether it really does work on it too, and then I can try it on a real 2.
Yeah,
if I want. Okay, that was fun. Thank you.
There you go. Very good. Very nice. Very nice. So have we learned something from all of this? Because that's important. This is an educational program.
Don't use Basic 09.
Just say no.
Nick, I'm with you. I'm kind of going, there's a reason why I didn't use OS9 back in the day. The only way they could get me to use OS9 was to pay me.
Yeah, well, there you
go. All right. Well, that was a riveting segment. We've got more segments, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back. But we learned something. Make sure you enable write back when you're using a floppy in XROR. So we got that going for us. So we'll be back in just a minute.
Okay, thank you.
CoCoTALK After Dark.
Hi, I'm Kieran Anscombe, author of XROR, and your brain is resolving sensory input into CoCoTALK.
What's going on, everybody? Stevie Stroh, and I want to say thank you for continuing to watch and listen to CoCoTALK. We love doing this show. We think we put together a pretty good show for you, but this show could be better with your help. So if you would like to send a feedback, a comment, a suggestion, a show topic, or maybe even your own little segment or bumper, then send it to us via email to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live. This show would be nothing without you. Love to hear from you.
Every day, a color computer is abandoned or abused. They live in the dark recesses of garages, basements, storage sheds, barns, and attics, waiting for someone to help.
This is too good of a commercial, though.
I'm Helen Bleeding Heart. Please say you'll be the answer for CoCo suffering the effects of extreme temperature, overexposure to ultraviolet light, and conditions unfit for electronics. These CoCos need your help. Please call 888-6883 or go online and join the Color Computer Preservation Society with a monthly gift right now. For just $18 a month, you can rescue CoCos from their abusive environments, provide repair of damaged parts, administer retro bright treatments, and most of all, provide love. Call or sign up online in the next 30 minutes and we'll send you a photo of a CoCo being lovingly reconditioned by the CCPS. And you'll receive this beautiful tote bag that declares, I saved a CoCo. Yours for your generous, perpetual monthly gift. This is your chance to say, I won't sit by while a CoCo is wasting away. Please, won't you call or go online right now?
I love that.
That was good.
We have to. That's a good. We gotta all. We have to help out our fellow.
I got some questions.
Yeah. Ron Delvaux has questions.
Can you see my CoCo 2? Can you see my CoCo 2?
We can see.
All right, I'm gonna hit.
Yes, we can.
DOS. Watch how fast it boots up.
Okay. Welcome to Nitrous Time. Yeah, it booted
now,
up
how
quickly.
do I if I hit SDC, I get a list of what's on the SDC card, right? Now, how do I get to those archives?
Are you talking under OS 9, Ron? Or
Yeah, this is Nitrous 09.
Yeah. Okay.
On the CoCo 2, level 1.
Yeah, under Nitrous 9. I'm not sure if level 1 supports Barry Nelson's utilities to do that, but
yeah, too bad Barry wasn't on here to let us know, because I haven't tried it on level 1 myself.
Okay.
yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
stuck, huh?
I've used it under level 2 and it works great. There's nothing wrong with it, but I haven't used it on level 1.
I found that command.
SDC minus, huh?
But when this first boots up, it says something on it. It says 6809, 2014. Oh, I thought it said something about Becker or something, but it doesn't. No. What is Becker? Since we're on the subject, I guess.
The Becker interface was originally created for the CoCo 3 FPGA to give both Disk Basic and OS 9 a common interface for talking to the serial port that's on the CoCo 3 FPGA project to get drive wire access.
Yeah.
So there is a real Becker person?
Yeah, it's
Gary Becker.
Gary Becker.
And why isn't he on?
He's on Yahoo.
He's a Yahoo person. Yeah.
Oh, he's an email guy, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I see Jason
he's
pouring
a good
some
guy.
vodka back there.
I don't have anything. with him, and he's a great guy.
What kind of vodka you got there, Jason? You gotta
Mute
unmute
vodka
yourself there.
Yeah.
Yes, mute vodka. Don't ask for it by name.
Vodka for mimes.
It's cherry flavored vodka.
Yes.
All right.
Mix it.
You mixing it with anything?
Some real Coke Zero, not the fake stuff. This is real Coke Zero.
Okay. Cherry vodka and Coke, huh?
You got it.
That is, that's an interesting combination.
Yeah, go back to the 1920s and get the Coke.
Oh, the original
manly drinks.
I have the Windex.
Just in case we have some people, anybody watching us on Facebook who's maybe not quite as familiar with the CoCoTALK program, I figure I'll just bring you up to speed. So, yeah, we talk about the Tandy color computer. We are going on about a year long we've been doing this show. So in March, it'll be a year. We do this show once a week on Saturdays, usually around 2 o'clock Florida time. It's a live stream on YouTube. We are a podcast as well, so you can hear audio replays of the show. And as you can see here, we got a bunch of people on the CoCoTALK program. So we run the full gamut from subject matter experts to casual computer users to even some living legends in the case of David Ladd, like we have up here in the corner. So,
Steve, Steve, I am so going to boot to the head when we get to the fest.
The man, the legend, David Ladd.
The legend, Lord of the Floppy. But yeah, we like to have fun on our show, but we try to keep it somewhat. Grant Leighty says Steve had to talk. It's been 30 seconds. Yeah, that's right. I have a stopwatch going on here. But yeah, so we run a show, and we're a retro talk show, and this is a kind of fun, fast, and loose version of our show. So when we get crazy with the CoCoTALK, so we hope that if you're new to seeing us on Facebook, you'll check us out on our regular program as well. You can go to CoCoTalk.live. And if you think CoCoTALK is awesome, you might even want to grab yourself a cool t-shirt like this, the CoCoTALK official t-shirt that you can get on our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. We got coffee mugs. If you like the color computer, we got coffee mugs that say, I'm a Coco Nut, and we got all kinds of cool stuff like that. So yeah, we're a somewhat legitimate show. Although you can't tell by watching this one right now tonight, but yeah, I thought I'd throw that out there.
Holding up there?
That's an ESP.
Yeah, what were you holding up there, Alan?
Show it again, Alan.
Okay, check this out. If you look at this little part right here with the antenna, this little module is a computer with RAM, and it's got storage hooked up to it and a little tiny antenna for Wi-Fi. Okay, so this is the $2 Wi-Fi part that can actually run code and do stuff, and it just talks out serial. So you can hook it up to anything that can read and write bytes and do internet access. So I've got a development board that also has a USB plug on there, so I can load stuff on it and use it a little easier. And I was wondering if you guys wanted to take a quick moment and I could show you something really cool.
Sure.
No.
Yeah, please do.
No.
Alan, ignore him. Show us.
Okay. Let me
Remember,
let me share a screen. Let me try to share a screen. How's that work?
One of the requirements, you got to have at least 95 icons on your desktop if you're going to do this.
You're going to be very disappointed. Where is screen sharing?
The plus symbol next to the
There's a plus sign. The plus sign.
Plus sign.
Yeah.
He's on a Mac.
Hey, there's a plus sign. Okay, I want to share screen. And then if I go over here, I say start. But now I can't see anybody, so you got to tell me if you can see something.
We can see it.
Yes, I see it.
We can see you. Yeah. Wi-Fi firmware. C64 net.
3.4.
Good job. We've
Says
got
ready.
literates. The firmware that comes on these little modules has kind of a command set that lets you make a connection, send data, read data, and it can actually support up to 4 connections at a time. But it's not something you can directly use. You have to have a little bit of code that says, go out to this web address, write the following 12 bytes, then read, and you have to parse things out of it. But it's simplistic. Somebody could write something in BASIC that could do it if it could run fast enough. But you can also load other programs onto this module. So this is a project done by some Commodore people, apparently, and it replaces the built-in firmware with something that makes it look like an old 1980s Hayes smart modem. So if I type in AT, the old Hayes command, it says OK. But they make some of the commands do different things. I can say ATW, and it will go out and show me all the Wi-Fi base stations I can connect to. Then you could just say ATW, and you could give it the base station name and the password, and it would go out and try to connect to that. This will hopefully fail. And then you can write your connection back so you can save it, just like you could with one of those modems. So you could change the baud rate, you could change who you connect to, you could do all kinds of things and save it. And if this ever comes back, when it turns on the next time, it will remember those settings just like a modem would. So what they've done is there's a bunch of projects like this, but this one is very complete. In the old days, does anybody remember the Hayes command to dial a BBS?
ATDT.
ATDT.
DT.
DT.
And let's go to coffeemud.net, port 23. And instead of dialing a phone number, I dial an internet address.
Based by a domain name or host name.
Yes. Boop, beep, beep, beep. Now, I think what happened is when I tried to connect to the new base station, it forgot my old base station. So let me see if I can reset it so it goes back to defaults. And hopefully this will work. I think I actually just erased my base station connection. Yeah, I erased the base station connection. So hang on a second. Let me unshare for a second. How do I unshare?
Okay.
There
Stop
we go.
sharing.
Click on the plus again and hit stop
Okay.
sharing.
But anyway, so what they did is they added all these commands that let you use it as if it was a modem, which means Ultima Term, the RIBS BBS, anything that used to work with a modem will basically work with this. So I could hook one of these up to an RS-232 pack with a little bit of circuitry to convert from RS-232 to the little signals this uses. And then I could run my old BBS, and then with a couple of extra commands on startup, somebody could telnet in and connect to my CoCo. And this is defaulting to 1200 baud, and there are people using this for BBSs. They're using it and writing programs. It even has the ability to retrieve a file from the internet. So you can actually tell it to go grab a text file or grab a binary file, and then you would need some extra code, of course, to read what it's coming in across the modem and write it to disk. But if I go out with one command and somebody has this on their color computer, they listen, I connect, we're now connected. We could run file transfer programs or whatever we want, and it's all being done by this little $3 part.
So they would type in like ATA for auto answer, and you would type in ATD for dialing?
Yes, it actually prints the word ring, and when you do ATA, it prints the word connect.
I have one question. What happens if you try to tell it to do an ATDP for pulse dialing?
Okay, it reuses some of those commands. One of the modes dials out and does telnet protocol, so it handles all the special protocol messages. In fact, let me switch back now that I'm back on my Wi-Fi. I had to I should have just hit the reset button and it would have been fine. Let's see here. Okay, let me know when you can see that again.
Got it.
You're up. We can see it.
Okay.
We got it. We got a copy on
There
your
we go.
Ghostwriter.
Okay, so if I say, so one of them translates Commodore ASCII, head ASCII, to normal ASCII. So if you're on a Commodore and you connect to a normal system, it'll do the translation automatically. So let's try this again. Now that I'm back. There we go. So I just used AT,
Hey!
and now I'm calling a BBS, and it's lowering the baud rate to 1200 baud because that appears to be the default the Commodore guys like. Which means you could hook this up to a slow banger port on a CoCo 1 and be just fine.
What are you on now?
This is awesome, man.
Is that an emulator?
Yeah, what's that?
Are you on a CoCo emulator?
No, in this case, I'm just plugged up to my Mac, and I'm just running a Macintosh terminal program. But what I was doing with this the previous night is I was using Roger Taylor's CoCo on a chip FPGA project, which has one of these you can plug into it. There's a little socket on the board, and you can plug this in, and if you put this firmware on that part, then you can just load up Ultimate Term and use it on the internet. But you can also do it on a regular machine.
Actually, Alan,
that's cool.
Talk to Roger lately?
Oh, yes.
Okay, because last night we discovered that the actual CoCo chip itself can actually program ESP 8266.
Good, because that's one of the things that I want to be able to do is the programming firmware is still on this little part. So as long as you could get a binary, you could repurpose it. You could have the normal mode if you want to do advanced internet stuff with special programs, or you could have the modem mode if you just wanted to run a BBS or telnet into other CoCos.
Yeah, there are many firmwares out there, and we have figured out a way to get it that you can actually use the CoCo itself, or a CoCo on a chip, I guess you could say.
So that's the experiment.
We got a request to put the project link to Alan. Can you put the link to this in the live chat? We got a request for. Is there a link to this project or this product? And for those just joining us too, hey David, thanks for joining us. What was the name of this chip again that you were showing off, Alan?
This is an ESP 8266, and there's several variations. And then the firmware I'm using is a free project called ZI Modem. I think it's the guy's name is Zimmerman or something. So Xi Modem is the Wi-Fi Haze smart modem that you load on this. And I got the little development board I'm using. It cost me all of like $8.99 from Amazon with Prime shipping. And that lets me plug it up to a modern PC and experiment. The actual parts that we would hook up to these FPGA projects cost about $2 or $3. So all that's missing is the interface to change the little circuit level serial port to an RS-232 serial port. Again, it's just a couple of dollars worth of parts, and you could plug one of these up. You'd have to give it power, and hook it up to an RS-232 pack, and do all this on a Color Computer 1.
Yep. So is Roger Taylor's stuff gonna come with it? Stock?
There's a socket on the board where you can plug in a Bluetooth module. There's another socket where you can plug in one of these. So if you want it, you spend a couple of dollars and order the part and plug it in. And internally, he makes it look like either an RS-232 pack or a deluxe modem pack. So you can actually have Bluetooth on one and Wi-Fi on the other. And it's pretty fascinating.
Oh, it works awesome.
It's what we need. We need something like this for the CoCo.
So that's why the mailing list discussion started. If somebody's going to be making a new deluxe RS-232 pack, it might be more beneficial to just have the same type of chip, the little serial port chip that all our software works with, but just have these little connectors inside the cartridge. So you take the cartridge, you plug in one of these modules, and it's a Wi-Fi cartridge. You plug in another type of module, and it connects Bluetooth. You plug in another type of cable, and then it goes USB to your PC, so you can transfer files from a PC that doesn't even have a serial port.
Yep.
That's pretty smart.
And it's programmable, so that you can switch between any form of what module sits at what address.
Yeah, so if you have the two modules, you could make the Bluetooth module appear like a normal RS-232 pack, so you could do Bluetooth under Ultima Term or Greggy Term or whatever, and then you could, do a poke, and now the Wi-Fi module appears there the same way, so now you could be doing Wi-Fi. You don't have to do any jumpers or move anything around. It's just kind of changes the connection.
It's totally software.
It'd be green tooth on the CoCo.
Yeah, and so we could do the same thing with a pack on the color computer. It could have all these modules in, and it could look like two different devices, or you could switch them back and forth. And I think it opens up a huge amount of possibilities. One of the first things I'm going to do with Roger as soon as we get our firewalls opened up is write like maybe a 15-line tic-tac-toe program that plays across the internet. So we'll both run a copy. I'll connect to him, and we'll just play tic-tac-toe together. And it should really probably just a dozen lines of code.
Yeah.
Wow. We got a question on asking what is the name of the development board that you're using with this?
The actual development board is the DE0 Nano.
Oh, is that what you're using, Alan, on your little thing you showed us?
Yep, that's the same one.
My development board, let me find the link. Where am I supposed to paste these links in?
I would put them in the Facebook live chat.
You have to be on Facebook.
Or if you put it in a Skype chat, somebody can copy and paste it over for you. I'm hoping, right? So, so you mentioned that you have a little proto board or development board that you're using for this thing, and you showed us. So, I guess the question was, what was that board you were using there? So,
okay, let me paste in the one that I bought from Amazon, and again, it's
Okay.
USB. It would hook to a Mac or a PC, but the little tiny chips on it, with a couple of extra dollars of circuitry, could then go to a color computer serial port, even the Bitbanger.
okay. That's cool. That's exciting.
This is the
That's
kind
a
of
very
exciting
useful
stuff
add-on.
that we were going to have in all of our CoCo talks.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks for really selling that one for us.
The Timberman has spoken.
Yeah.
Timberman.
Well, Jim Brain's got to step up now.
That is neat. I mean, that is a very useful thing. If you think about useful hardware. But something like this, where we can now connect to the outside world with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and USB and serial and a multi-purpose communications device. That's like a holy grail right there.
And here's the other part. This is the thing that's missing because there's probably nobody that's going to bother to do it. But on these virtual color computers like CoCo FPGA and CoCo on a chip, they can build the hardware so it does things in the background, and the color computer just thinks it's got a 232 pack or a disk drive. So Roger is going to make it so instead of mounting a floppy disk image off of an SD card, you can mount a floppy disk image across the internet on somebody's web server just for read. So if you wanted to play a game, rather than download it, copy it to your SD card, you'd just say drive 0, sabithasoftware.com/game.disk. And then now you've got a read-only copy to play. We can't do that on the color computer. However, the technology that's in the CoCo SDC could.
It's kind of there right now, Alan, but it's still not perfected yet.
Yeah, this is exciting. If the color computer, if the CoCo SDC had a plug for one of these devices, and then the firmware could basically do the same thing, you could actually replicate most of the stuff we're doing in the FPGA projects on an actual color computer. But it takes something that acts like a disk drive to really do this with all the compatibility. So that probably won't happen. But my goal is all this cool stuff we're doing with the FPGA is I want to make sure that we do it in a way so if somebody did want to design a cartridge, it could still run on an original color computer.
Exactly, and I agree.
That would be pretty awesome. That is a cool little product, I gotta say. I have to say.
So
Alan, your links are on Facebook now.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
So in the future, we'll have a little wrist watch with the CoCo on there, and it'll project the screen up on our arm.
We need a CoCo-powered holodeck. The speech sound pack is going to be our
yeah,
our interface. Yeah, very, very cool. That's new hardware. Fusion. Maybe something like that can be showed off at CoCo Fest, since that's the theme, right? New hardware on an old machine. That would be kind of cool. Grant Leighty, you've been awfully quiet tonight.
Where's that cricket sound?
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to use his mute button.
Yes, amateur hour. That's any hour on CoCoTALK. So we've got 2 angry people right now. That's pretty awesome. 2 angry people, 2 wows, 4 loves, and 9 likes. So the telethon is working out pretty good right now. I'm liking that.
Timmy's gonna do good.
Timmy might get that wheelchair. Timmy just might get that wheelchair. Oh my lord. Grant, you there? Or has Grant just been busy trolling us in the chat? It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, so Jim Brain, you have some disciples, and you must be proud.
It looks like I may I may be able to hand my crown over to somebody else here pretty soon.
I don't want your crown of. Never mind.
How long have we been out?
Well, spoke up.
It's been about 2 hours and 15 minutes going on, so way too long. Way
Alan,
too long.
you are sure addicted to those joke colas.
Well, I have
How
a
many
lot
of
of
you
catching
have?
up to do.
You don't have
Years.
to drink all of them.
Was
You
it
should have
twice-
gotten for
twice-
the years.
Yeah. What was the catchphrase of Jolt Cola?
All the
Twice
sugar and
caffeine,
twice the
sugar?
caffeine.
And
Yeah,
and
right.
something that's interesting is when Jolt Cola was originally produced, at some point they started making different flavors and cherry bomb and all these other things. And then towards their last few years, they evolved into energy drinks that came in giant aluminum bottles that look like AA batteries. And then they they filed Chapter 11, I think, in 2009 or something, and they disappeared. But towards the end of the original Jolt, of course, sugar is bad. Sugar is so bad that the can started just saying caffeine 2X, and they just failed to mention that it had sugar in it. So apparently, sugar is bad, caffeine's fine. And the new formula is back to the original. They're still using actual sugar and not high fructose corn syrup.
Okay.
By the way,
Nice.
Alan, you remember what I told you caffeine does to you? It raises your blood sugar.
Well,
so you take
I'm
in
not
the sugar, and then you raise your blood sugar with the caffeine. Your body's going, bzzz.
But
You're just saying that Alan's a really sweet guy, right?
Yep.
I don't go to Starbucks.
Hey, Ken's saying he had a friend that would drink Jolt Cola with a Bacardi 151.
I've done
That's
that
a
numerous
combination.
times myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well, there was a popular drink for a while. It was like Red Bull and vodka, you know, and it's just like you got the opposite end of the spectrums here, right? You got the alcohol, which is your downer, and your Red Bull, which is your upper. So
That's why it's your yin
good
yang.
stuff. Good stuff.
Hey, it
Your
just
yin
wakes
yang
you up
drink.
a little bit more so you can feel really good.
Ho! I think we lost Grant. We must have put Grant to sleep. Good night, Grant. You know, when Grant's dreaming of illuminated mice or something like that. So
Grant doesn't respond. Drink.
Yeah.
I got a nice Sam Adams sampler tonight. It was a 12-pack of like 6 different beers, 2 of each one. So each one of my beers has been a different strain of Sam Adams this evening. So
A
Good
different
stuff.
strain. I think that's an interesting
Strain.
word
Different,
choice.
Yeah, strain.
A different strain, like a different strain of the flu.
It's like a virus.
Yes, exactly.
So what's the subject tonight?
Yeah.
How to
That's
lick
boy-
your hand.
Cricket sound.
I'm
Grant has
I'm
returned.
looking at this Australian licorice I have here, and it has some Aussie lingo on the back here, and it says
right,
it says Coldy. It says a Coldy is a beer.
Coldy.
I don't know. I
Well,
don't know if that's accurate or not. But it says Coldy beer. Rage. It's a party. Gala as a fool. I don't know. I don't know if Nick can verify any of this. If this is actually true or not. Or it's just some gibberish.
I've heard Coldy.
Or do they have warm?
Coldy is the
do
cold
they
one.
have-
Okay, Brian Joyce
Do
confirms
they
that
have
too.
warmies?
Called coffee.
They have Esky, which is I guess a cooler.
Oh, okay. Yep, I got it.
Yeah, a footy says it's a football.
Oh, footy, yeah.
The things you learn from
Is the game.
it must be real. Yeah.
What do they call pajamas with feet?
Retarded.
What is a porky? Lie and untruth, huh? You telling a porky over there?
They're all pretty old.
What's a billy?
Old Aussie slang. Not many people use those nowadays.
Okay, what is the pickup truck? Was that say
A ute, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two utes.
Which is short for utility.
Utility vehicle, huh?
Hey, Steve.
A galah, a fool.
Which Steve are you asking for?
I'm sorry,
Grant?
you. So I've got a question for you, Steve. So since you called Canada shithole country, is Australia one too?
Not at all. Not at all.
No, they just don't know how to speak English, apparently.
Yeah. Well, at least they can spell color.
And they can't play hockey
Color.
either.
Yeah.
But they can play soccer.
Nah.
It's football.
Or is that football?
Yeah, football.
Footy.
Which isn't soccer.
And cricket.
Football isn't soccer.
I heard the crickets early.
Yeah, we did hear the crickets earlier. I stole those from Richard Lorbieski. I only steal from the best.
That's
So.
right. That's what you got, crickets there. That's the proper one.
I don't know what your guys' fascination with bugs rubbing their legs together.
I thought that was you, David.
David Ladd, king
Did you ever get a
of the
screaming
floppy.
drive noise?
Yeah.
Only when the bearing went out.
Hey, I've got
I want to show this
a
video.
noise question for you guys. Back when I
Okay.
was in Houston, this would have been around 1984. When did the first Ghostbusters movie come out? Was that 84?
About that.
About 84, yeah.
Yes.
There was supposedly a executable for the color computer that would play the Ghostbusters music, and while it was playing, it would start sending data to the printer, and it would use the printer noises as percussion and eventually print out the Ghostbusters logo with the song. And I had people tell me about it. They saw it at a club, but I never saw it myself. Has anybody ever found that?
I have not.
I've only seen the Ghostbusters logo print on the screen.
Yeah, I saw the one they did in Rainbow.
That's it. That's all I've ever seen.
I've never heard of that, but that sounds pretty cool. So nobody here has got that
We're going to have to dig
recollection,
for it.
Well, and that's the thing is things were so localized back then. You know, people weren't on CompuServe. I don't even know if Delphi existed yet. So I am pretty sure I saw creations in Houston that never existed anywhere else, simply because there were no national bulletin boards for the color computer yet.
Wow.
Yeah, I can believe it, 'cause
CompuServe?
CompuServe is expensive.
That sounds pretty cool, though, when you think about it, using the printer as a percussion instrument. And it was timed to the music.
Yeah,
even?
supposedly. And is that even possible? Can you be playing with the DAC at the same time you're playing with the bit banger?
I've never tried. I do remember that Spectral Associates in the early days used to warn users before they actually managed to shut off the printer part that if you left your printer plugged in while you're playing Ghost Gobbler, the early versions, it would actually start rattling your printer every time it was doing sound. So,
oh, interesting.
Well, sound
that was
uses,
just that was just bad data going across the port.
Yeah, they weren't filtering the bits out. Yeah.
The jukebox program, when it comes up, it says to make sure your printer's turned off because you probably get junk.
That's bad programming.
They just don't filter that port, that bit rather, because it's the same byte.
Yeah, same byte in the DAT.
Yeah, that's right.
Supporting
Only
output.
6 of them are for the DAC. The other 2 are for, one's for the printer output, and the other is, I forget what the other one's for. But you're meant to mask the data first, so you don't send out spurious data to bits 7, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Or as you can do, what I do now is reprogram the PIA and make those bits 6 and 7 as inputs only. So you can write to it, but nothing will go out because they've been defined as inputs.
Yeah, and that speeds up your sound because you don't have to do mask every sound.
You're having to mask it, so there's a bit of a speed up there.
Dragon has a parallel port, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, real one, yeah.
So it wouldn't have that problem?
No.
Does it have a serial
It's serial. Yeah, no, it's got a real RS-232 too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, so no, the Dragon would not have that issue.
MC10 would.
But like Steve said, that's just bad programming.
Yeah. I only saw that on the early programs, like the early Spectral Associates, the very first revisions of like Galax Attacks and Ghost Gobbler and Space Invaders had it. And then some of the early music programs, like you're mentioning, I think the Composer, which was the first of the multi-voice ones, even before Musica was out, had the same issue. That's the one that was mentioning the printer thing on the screen for the jukebox player. But once people figured out how to mask it off and that the fact that would cause that problem, a lot of people didn't even try it. I mean, most people didn't have printers. So they occasionally, I remember Spectral, they were talking about it, and they actually had complaints from customers that, actually had printers, because most of the Spectral guys didn't, and they would have it plugged in and just left it on from whatever printout they were doing before, and they suddenly start playing Ghost Gobbler, so bzz, 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 the printer's going off. And they finally figured out what was going on, and then they fixed it also.
Yeah, quality control was really good back then.
Yeah. Is it good enough? Send it out.
Yeah. If you think about it, there was a time when people who owned a printer were definitely in the minority. That was kind of a luxury item. I don't recall ever having a printer on my CoCo, so yeah, I never would have experienced that bug.
Well, the very first one I owned was a CGP
kind of
220, and that was like 4 or 5 years after I got my first CoCo. So,
Steve Bjork, you were saying that you have your own operating system. Is that something that you evolved as you were programming, or something that you had to make first and then program with?
It kind of evolved a little bit, but really what it was is I know I need to talk to the CoCo, and the specification was you could never count on the fact the ROM was always going to be there, or the ROM wouldn't change, or something like that. And as we found, people were tapping into Disk Basic and its I/O routines, and between version 1.0 and 1.1, those routines moved, and a lot of programs wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same problem JDOS and a few other things had too, because they had their routines moved and they weren't compatible with a lot of this stuff.
Exactly. So yeah, it was just, hey, I was writing ROM cartridges and programs that were going to be mass produced for Tandy, and I couldn't have bugs. Now, I did have one issue with one game. Sands of Egypt cleared memory out, but it cleared memory a little too high for the CoCo 3. So that is one bug that was in the games.
Was the CoCo 3 in existence when that game was produced?
No, that was 4 years later.
So
yeah, it was years later.
So there's no way you would have known it.
Now, I did make a patch that would go out and fix it.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing it on CompuServe.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah.
How many here was on CompuServe? I was.
I was.
Who else?
I think Alan and a bunch of others. You guys were Delphi guys, right?
Yeah, I was on it till I got a $300 bill.
I was on.
Yeah,
I had a Delphi account at the very end, but it was long distance. I was on Genie because we had a local number in Lufkin, Texas.
Oh, you're on Genie, okay.
Yeah, and
I
what's
was on
funny is when I
Delphi.
was going back through these old documents, I see a lot of references to Genie and stuff that was posted there, and you could find it here. So I guess Genie must have had a bigger CoCo group before I made it there. Everybody had left when I was there, and they made me the color computer sysop.
Wow.
Now, I made a terminal program that I use exclusively for CompuServe. And what it did, CompuServe, it was one price if you came in at one speed. If you came in at another speed, it was doubled in price. And there were certain times it would be more expensive or cheaper. So on my terminal program, it read the time, figured out the speed, and it had a little clock that was counting up in dollars and cents for your time on. CompuServe got wind that I was giving out this program, and they were having a holy shit fit over it. Because they did not want their people to know how much they were spending at the time.
See, we got around that by hacking
Yeah.
people's credit cards and using that instead. I probably shouldn't admit that, but
Wasn't it like it was $7.95? I think when I went on.
Well,
what was the thing that Radio Shack sold that came with the free week or whatever of CompuServe?
there was either Color Compact or was Videotex?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, it was Videotex or one of the other things.
Yeah, Videotex.
Yeah, so all those bags always amazingly got opened in the store for some reason.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a free hour that they gave you.
I know nothing.
I have a whole bunch of saved off buffer files of CIS and a lot of FidoNet stuff.
I have a lot of the General Electric stuff, but does anybody remember the Hayes smart modem BBS that had the 1-800 number?
Faintly. I don't think I called it much, though.
Yeah, it was the Hayes Modem Company, and they had a BBS, and Kevin Darling was on there, and a bunch of other people were on there, and that was when they were discussing coming out with a CoCo 4, and Kevin would give us hints, and he's like, well, it sounds like there might actually be 3 different machines being worked on, and one of them was the MM1. These were the non-Radio Shack ones. Yeah. And somewhere I've got tons of discs with all those messages, and it's at some point I'll get them all posted because it's a very interesting look back to what was going on at the time with, we didn't even know it was going to be called the MM1 yet.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
I was looking at some of mine where.
Do you remember what the MM1 was called originally?
Nope.
Trivia time.
The heck was it?
Not me.
MC11.
CDI?
No. It was a special name that Paul came up with.
Do.
They had that full page ad they brought
you
to
may
the
know
fest,
something
Curtis,
before the
come
one
on.
I have, but
You
when it
know
was
this.
first announced, it was MMI, and they couldn't use that because somebody else had that name.
Yeah, Multimedia Interactive or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something floating on YouTube that actually had an MM1 like behind the scenes, and they were talking about how revolutionary it was going to be, and all
that was
good
a
stuff.
TV commercial
Promotional
that
videotape. I have that too.
And speaking of CompuServe, I've actually got some of the OS9 and the CoCo SIGs, about 5 or 6 years worth of their messages boards, some of the message boards, most of them anyway, up on my website too. If you go down to the root of my site, you can find it.
Cool. Post a link in the Facebook chat.
Oh, now you're going to make me
don't know what your site is.
do work?
Yeah. All right. Well, while you do that, we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back, people.
Yeah, time to pee.
Oh my god.
After Dark.
Hello, I am David Ladd, and you are watching CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live CoCo podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me. It's Original Gamer Stevie Stroh. You know, gameplay. To get your copy of a Gameplay Goodness Color Computer Gaming DVD today, head on over to 8bit256.com. There you will find several DVDs featuring color computer gameplay videos by the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh. So to get your very own copy of a Gameplay Goodness Color Computer Gaming DVD, head on over to the Retro Swag Shop at 8bit256.com and tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
Hi, I'm Mike Rowan, and you're watching the Original Gamer, Stevie Stroh. And when you're done watching, come over and listen to the CoCo Crew podcast.
Hi, this is John Linville.
And Neil Blanchard.
We are the CoCo Crew. I hope you're enjoying watching Stevie Stroh play video games, especially the CoCo games. And when you're done with that, check out our podcast at CoCoCrew.org.
What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
CoCoTALK After Dark. CoCoTALK After Dark.
And we're back after a much necessary bio break. You gotta love that new jingle that Alan threw together for us. You're muted, Alan. You're still muted. Alan, you're muted. Can you hear us? We can't hear you. Alan, I can't hear you. Alan, can you hear us? You're muted. You can hear us because we can't hear you. We can't hear you, Alan. Oh, hold on a second. Wait a second. Maybe I did something wrong. Wait a second. Did I mute Skype? Okay, that was my bad. I had Skype muted that whole time. Start over.
Steve, you're a doofus.
I am. I'm an asshole. What do you want from me?
Well,
more
first
cowbell.
what about the world? Can you give us the world?
What an asshole!
Hey now, language, you cork suckers. All right, so Alan, what I was saying was I really appreciate you throwing together that jingle for us. And you said something like 3 times, and I didn't hear you any of those times. You want to repeat one of those?
Oh, let's see. Which one of the things that I said should I repeat?
Hey, next week, Alan, can you create a whole segment of these? I mean, you've done one vow. Can we do CoCoTALK After Dark A, and then CoCoTALK After Dark O? Yeah, and the Y sometimes.
There's a story to that. I had the tune. I came up with the tune, and I did the music, and I'm like, it's going to be like CoCoTALK After Dark, something. I'm like, what the hell rhymes with dark? I looked up rhyming words, and I'm like, well, none of these really work. So there you go.
So Alan, did the Archies come out of retirement to sing this song?
I'm more of a Monkees fan, but the Monkees just met the Archies in a comic book that just came out, so I think that'll work. Hey, look, anybody tried this?
I really think
it's called a tablet.
What is this?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you got? Is this like the web browser version of the CoCo?
Yeah, it runs on a tablet, but he doesn't have a way to type on it.
That kind of limits
that's
the usefulness,
useful.
doesn't it?
So there's no virtual keyboard.
No, but you can do. Let me see if I can find one of
You could just
Bjork's
have an
games.
animated GIF then.
Well, I could, but you can do this. This is fun. Let's see if this works.
I see the OK prompt. Oh. You have the.
Hold on. Let me see if I can figure out how to. There it is.
Okay,
Zach's
so you can
on.
run again. There's Zach's on. Zach's on. Zach's off.
And because Bjork put in a demo, it can look like I'm running it. If I can figure out where the screen is.
Yeah.
Give it a few more seconds.
Okay. 1 or 2 players. Is it in the right color set when the Zaxxon is in red?
And that's
Okay.
the old startup screen.
It's running.
There you go. There you go. It's running, Alan. Nice.
So if we just got them to add keyboard controls to use like an external keyboard or something, then we could be emulating the color computer in our browser or our cell phone without having to install anything.
Wow. Complete with copyright infringement software from a drop-down menu.
Yeah. Datasoft would have been very, very upset about that.
Alan, you do know that I own all the rights to the Datasoft stuff, don't you?
I did not. When did that happen?
A few years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I bought it
Are you
from
sure
the
about-
Software Toolworks.
What you think?
And then the stuff that I licensed to Tandy, I got that stuff back from Samsung.
Samsung. Did Samsung... I thought it was like AST or something. Did Samsung buy them?
Yep.
Okay.
It took me a while to figure out who finally ended up with Radio Shack's technology, licenses and agreements, and it was Samsung.
Well, I seem to recall some folks were just trying to track down who owned the ROMs, years ago, and the contact inside Fort Worth came back and said, "We don't know."
You're talking about the ROMs on the inside the computer? Yeah, that's Microsoft owns them.
There was a long mailing list debate last year about, everybody thinking they knew how legal stuff worked. I'm not quite sure I know how that stuff works, but, you wonder if there's a statute of limitation on software or not, or whatever you want to call, copyright.
Sure, after 75
expiration
years.
date, or
After you're dead, too, right?
75.
It's after
Yeah,
you're
okay.
dead, or if you're a corporation, I think it's now about 130 years.
Yeah, thanks to Disney
Wow.
on that one.
Yep.
Now that we've got Al Huffman on, do you remember when you started a competition about the 4K color basic programs, about trying to see who can write the best or a good 4K
Yeah,
color
one of these
basic?
days I need to complete that because I still have the prizes.
I've actually, I was just looking at my computer and I found the file that I had submitted as well. Do you want me to try and share the screen? I've got it running finally in XRAW.
That's
Yeah,
your Space
was
Invaders?
that
Sure.
the Space Invaders?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember that, and I still have the page. I need to go through that. Yeah, things kind of fell apart, but there were some fun things. It'd be nice to get them all up. Now that I know a lot more about XROAR, we could let everybody take a look at them, and then I could finally award the prize.
Right. I'll just see if I can turn the sound. Sound comes on automatically now, doesn't it, in the new Skype?
I'm not
There's
sure about
no,
that, unfortunately.
Oh, share
Well,
system sound. Here it is. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, are you seeing a XRAW window?
Yep.
Oh, it looks like you are.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Well, that's it. That's the basic program. It runs in a 4K color basics. No extended basic here, so we haven't got any graphics commands. Comes up with this rather glorious title page. Some Space Invaders by some idiot. Insert coin. So then we just start the game, and it's Indian Wave 1. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a lot better than the Radio Shack version of the Space Invaders.
Which one? They had the cartridge as well. That was
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm talking about the cartridge one. Though that was one of their first.
Space Assault or whatever.
Yeah.
Lost.
Yeah, we got some sound there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of sound because there wasn't any memory left.
Yeah.
Besides sound, would just slow it down.
Bottom.
Yeah, if it was during play, it would. So this was my entry into your competition. I wonder what happens when I get to the end. Oh, that's 2 down.
I don't know because I couldn't do it.
The bottom row was getting awfully close to you there, Nick.
Nah, but I'm a pro.
I wasn't aware you could fit the cheat code in there. I have to say, there wasn't very many commercial
really
4K games. I mean, the one I remember was Scarfman, other than the cartridge stuff.
Well, this one's just basic, so I'm trying to get through this set.
Yeah, I was very disappointed to see this because I had been working on my Pac-Man game with the maze and figured out how I was going to scroll the screen and do all that, and then Nick sends this in.
Hey, attack wave 1 down.
Attack wave 2, nice.
Just that easy.
Good job there, Nick.
I've only got 1 life left.
Not for long.
How can you tell if the program is only going to work in 4K? Do you have to force your emulator to only have 4K?
I'm using XRAW, and I've configured it for a 4K color basic machine.
Yeah, okay. And it was not only that.
Forced the hardware down.
Yeah, not only that, it was 4K with version 1.0.
Yeah, that's
just like it would have been in 1980.
That's it. Yeah, this is running as a color basic 1.0. That was the requirement for your competition. So that was my entry. I just found it there. I thought, I wonder if this still works. This is the first time I've ever used color basic in 4K, and then that was what was challenging about your competition. I thought I'll just go see how bad it was. It was pretty bad, but amazingly, what do you do for break? There it is. So there it is. Yeah, all in basic.
Wow.
Oh, I remember I had my 4K
lines,
color base. I think I had 1.1, but I had a 4K color basic machine. I didn't upgrade for about a year, and I wrote probably about 3 dozen programs. Unfortunately, I don't have many of them left anymore.
Well, for those folks that worked on just straight color basic, back in the day, I wrote a program called Screen Editor Controls System. You load it in, it gave you a screen-based editor. Because remember, if you messed up on a line, you had to retype it in. There was no edit
wait
command.
A second. Okay, Steve, I just read about that in Rainbow Magazine. There were 2 things I had a question for you. Did you name the product Sex on purpose?
No comment.
And the second question was, it gave high-resolution graphics before there was Extended Basic, or if you didn't have Extended Basic, and it said there was a logo done by a guy named Steve Bjork, which was the first time your name appeared in Rainbow. What was the graphic?
Back in 1980, what did you do on the 3rd day of March? In other words, I have no idea.
And now we know what William Shatner has felt like all these years.
But no, it just, I had wrote it in my own spare time, and then Datasoft says, we can make some money off of it.
I have a question for Steve on that too. Did this editor run on a 4K CoCo?
Yep.
How much room did you have left for basic programs after loading the editor?
Well, first of all, what I do is only bring the editor in, wouldn't bring in the graphic system. And let's see, the editor was only about 190 bytes. And what it is you would tell it to list a line on the screen. And the screen was your buffer. I was trying to save as much memory as I could. I couldn't afford a second edit buffer. And it literally would put list the stuff up there with the line number and like that. You type in the changes and hit enter, and would kind of figure out what line you were on, and then put those changes in for you.
Okay, so your screen itself was your buffer live.
Yeah. I was doing everything I could to save stuff, and that was also to hand coded.
Yeah,
in
pre-assembler
machine language.
Wow.
Okay, folks.
Nick's
hey,
doing
this
pretty
has been,
good here.
This has been great fun, but I need to pop out now. Hopefully, I can join this a lot more. This reminds me of sitting around in the lobby of the CoCo Fest. So this has been fun.
Yeah, thanks for popping by, Alan.
Great. Well, let's close you out with your jingle one more time.
After dark.
Go ahead, David.
Alan, this is how it always is in Discord. Hint, hint, hint.
Yeah, join the Discord voice chat too.
If
Click
you
on
don't
the
want to
voice
have any
channel when you
personal
see us
life
out there
whatsoever,
talking.
just hang around Discord. You'll be busy every night. So
Fantastic. You guys have fun, and I'll see you next time.
Later, Alan.
Okay, thanks for joining us,
See you,
Alan.
Alan.
Oh,
That was a good run there, Nick. 10 grand.
Hey guys, I'm gonna leave
10K.
too.
Nick got up to 10.
Later, John.
Okay, John Strong, thanks for joining us.
Yes, see you.
Right. I'm pumped.
Good stuff there, Nick.
Yeah, my screen editor control system, that could definitely show up on some trivia contest as a bonus question, because that's something that I barely remember.
yeah, I've never seen it. So.
You might still be sharing your screen, Nick. You might
Yeah,
want
I'm
to
gonna
stop sharing
try.
now because I'm getting some.
Get control of this thing. How's that?
No, I still feel like we're hijacked here.
We got the
We
swirly
gotta
wheel.
we got the swirly deal.
Oh.
All right. Well, while you work on that, we'll try one more commercial while you figure that part out.
Okay, yep, all right, I'll keep mucking around here.
CoCoTALK After Dark.
I'm Garage, as you can see. Color Computers. CoCoTALK. Stevie Stroh. What can you ask for? This is the best.
All right.
Are we?
Well, that was a trailer for the David Ladd story. You back with
No,
us?
I
Nick?
think so. Is it working?
You're back. Yeah, I was noticing that you were still kind of stuck in the screen sharing mode. so I
That's
just-
John Strong.
I hung up on you.
That's not him. It's John Strong that's got the twirly.
Okay, well, John's gone now too. So we're back.
Mm-hmm.
We're back. And by the way, that was a trailer for Floppy Life, the summer blockbuster of 2018, starring David Ladd. We're so lucky to have you on the show here today, David. So thanks for taking time out of your busy showbiz schedule to join us.
Oh, I'm so good.
Sir
to help you,
David
Steve.
Ladd.
There it is.
Ho!
Ladies and
David
gentlemen,
Ladd,
creepy
Lord of the
David
Fly.
Ladd.
Hey.
Coco Man, you're overdriving your microphone a little.
Yes, just a little bit. We have reached just about all of the emotions except for haha tonight. We got 12 likes, 4 loves, 2 wows, 2 sads, and 1 angry. We need a haha out here. We got to get the full. Here we go. We just got a
I was gonna say, we
haha.
have to be funny
All
first.
right. That's what you're here
Jim
for,
Brain
Curtis.
is a joke, so that's a haha right there.
Oh.
Nice try. Better luck next time.
Haters gonna hate.
Oh, sorry.
Well, at least Richard's stuff works.
Ooh, how cute. And here I liked you.
Wow. Yes. When you steal someone else's design,
That's right.
when you steal a proven design, it's you got a greater chance of success.
Well, at least my proven design works. Instead of those warranty returns that some other guy does.
I know. He spends like 30 minutes every time on Discord. Oh, I gotta fill the orders, do all those warranty returns.
Well, I thought it was nicer than saying I don't want to talk anymore with you lamers.
So tell us what you really think.
Pardon me for being diplomatic.
The truth was such a
Yeah, when he takes off, we say good riddance.
That's
Wow. This just hit.
Remember, if you're going to dish it out, you got to take it.
That's right.
We are going on 3 hours in this train wreck, and it's still on the rails. So somehow we've managed to keep it on the rails. And something else. We did close to 3 hours during the day, another 3 hours of night. 6 hours in one day. Is there a law against this? Somewhere.
We just proved that none of us have a life.
Luckily, I'm on the West Coast, and it's not 9 o'clock yet. I can still spend some time with my wife.
Yeah, that's
There
what I
you
got
go.
to do. So, goodbye, everybody.
All right, Ron Delvaux.
Bye, Ron.
Bye-bye.
All right, my dog is needing me to take her outside. So you guys talk amongst yourselves while I let the dog out. I'll be back.
I'm probably going to head out here too, so thanks for having me on the show, guys.
No.
See, this is not the time to leave. Steve left. Now you can take over the show.
So, Jim, what do you really think about Steve?
What do I really think about Steve now that he's not here to defend himself? Well, I think he's a bloomin' idiot personally, but I wouldn't tell that to his face.
Okay, we got a kitty cat tail in the camera.
That would be our Overholser, right?
Yep.
How's that allergy going, Steve?
It's starting to affect me just looking at it.
All right, what's Bruce babbling about here in the chat here? Bruce is calling us lamers, saying get a life. He's saying who lets the dog out? Woo, woo, woo. Yeah. So we are back. All right. So we decided to put the show out of its misery. Is that the is that the
After
consensus?
doing 6 hours a day, yes.
No. The only thing that we have to put out of its misery is you, Steve.
It's time for the show to go live on a farm.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help that. I apologize. It's not very good.
No apologies necessary, David. No apology necessary.
Anyway, I'm going to run.
All right. Yes. Okay. So on behalf of those who are still with us right now, David Ladd is here, Mark Overholser and Kat is here, Jason the CoCo Man, Grant Leighty, Richard Lorbieski, Steve Bjork, Bill Nobel, Jim Brain, and Nick Marentes, all the way from Australia, way down under. G'day, Nick. Thanks for joining us now. Glad to have you back online and back with us.
Yes.
Good.
Back.
On behalf of the 11 likes, the 4 loves, the 2 ha-has, the 1 wow, the 2 sad, and the 1 angry, I want to thank everybody who was in the live chat with us on Facebook today. So we had Thomas C. was here, Richard Lorbieski, Brian Joyce, Grant Leighty, David was here, Jim Geary was here, Steve Bjork was in the live chat, Ken Make It was here, and Retro Innovations was here, Alan Huffman was here, Bruce Moore. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching us on Facebook. This will be available for replay later on Facebook. I'll also post it on our YouTube channel. So we're going to sign off with CoCoTALK After Dark with a nice little cool video segment and some outro music. So we'll see you guys later. CoCo forever, everybody.
Good night.
Check out.
Good night,
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, and good night.
Good night. Bye-bye, everybody. And we're off the air.
This has been a marathon day. The last time I was in front of a camera for this many hours one day, I literally was doing a telethon.
Well, just
we're raising.
Don't feel bad. I'm still itching to go for a few more hours yet.
Yeah, but you haven't been in front of the damn camera.
All right. Good night, all.
I don't have to be in
Steve,
front of
just
it.
do it for Jerry's kids. Think of it that way.
All right. MC10 forever.
Actually, the funny
Good
thing
night,
was, it was the local channel that was doing the muscular dystrophy telethon that I was on for 6 hours. Oh, that was a long shift.
All right. See you later. Bye.
All right. Take care, Nick.
Good night.
All right. So for those of us on the East Coast, it's getting on midnight. It's a few minutes away from midnight. So good times. Thanks, everybody.
Midnight's nothing, Steve.
Coco Man's going to
I'm gonna
sleep.
retire.
Oh yes, most definitely.
More like passing out, but not sleeping.
It's not that bad.
Jason, have you seen your face?
Yeah, it looks pretty sleepy, but it's been a long day.
Have you seen your face? Have you walked in front of a mirror lately?
Oh, the night's still young.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I am signing off. Thank you all. CoCo forever.
Yeah. See you in
Take
2
care.
weeks.
Bye-bye.
2 weeks.
Sounds good. That's right. We'll be here next
2
week.
weeks.
I was going to say,